Very good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is Thursday Night Motorsport. And, of course, on the back of last night's shenanigans, we can return our full focus and attention and energy to the world of motorsport. And what a night to be doing so, ladies and gentlemen. 5 races coming at you thick and fast. 3 of them from here at the Brands Hatch Circuit of the United Kingdom. The full course layout, not for the first time this season, but definitely for the first time in Disruptive Labs Formula V. And then, of course, the fourth last round, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself, of the GSRC Porsche Cup. And we go back into sprint mode racing this week. 3 of the next 4 rounds are sprints, in fact. We're off to Circuit Park Zandvoort. We'll bring you the opening race from the open split. And then, of course, the feature from the elite split. Good evening, everybody. Zach Cabot alongside Matt Schmidtke, as per normal. Andrew Neal's not here tonight. We've drafted in some pretty good company to replace him in the meanwhile. We'll get to Grant Boyden in just a moment. We greatly appreciate the fact that he's here with us to talk all things Formula V. Cars lining up on the grid. That gives us minimal time to have a look at how the championship sits at the moment. And Sam Chapman holds sway there.
Zach,
by
do you see
about...
what I see?
I do see what you see. Oh, we've got a rolling start, Schmitty. Oh, for God's sake. What are we doing? It's not America. What are we doing? What is this, the 3rd time this season? Oh, gotta love live broadcasting. Okay, so that's actually not necessarily the world's worst thing, because it means we've got a little bit more time to chew the fat here off the top. Let's go to the championship standings, Schmitty. Let's go through normal process. 791 for Sam Chapman, 758 for Lockie Purvis, Adam Lavis on 739, and Derek Fitzgerald on 725. Ryan Tate, who nabbed a win last week, of course, on 711, make up the top 5. Then we go back to Braden Sagassa, Michael Adams, John Merritt, Brendan Nealon, and Thorne Weggett, making up the top 10. The answer to the question, Schmitty, is I didn't see it until you pointed it out. I was too busy looking at all the data in front of me. We'll have a look at the weather and track settings as well, and look at the grid here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting to note, on these 80 points covers the top 5 at the moment, and tonight is the night in which the drop rounds come into the equation here. So stick around, because once those points are crunched, probably at the end of the Porsches, we'll have a better idea of who's in contention and who's not. Chapo's already, by his own admission, suggested that he might be throwing yet another championship away by virtue of the fact that he seems to do a very good job of planning overseas travel around the time of championship deciders in Formula V. He's on pole position. He's alongside Braden Sagassa. So 1st and 6th in the championship there on the front row. And then, of course, we go back to John Merritt. And the reason why Grant's here, we'll get to Alex. We'll have a chat about Alex in just a few moments, because he has been the standout performer the last couple of weeks. Car number 570. Lockie Purvis alongside Derek Fitzgerald, row 3. And Adam Lavis and Ryan Tate from 4. And Michael Adams and Brett Bradbury from row 5. Pleased to tell you, it's a fairly decent grid size tonight as well. Adam Proctor, Jaden Draper from 6. Cooper Friend and Nathan Moroney from 7, Patrick Savina and Brendan Nealon from 8, Jolan Hansen and Jordan Dakin from 9, Will Ramsden and Jordan Pianazzola from 10, and then from 11 it's Michael Fisher, Mark Register and Greg Padgett's going to round out the field. Schmitty, can you take me back to the track map, please? I just want to remind everybody, this is one of those legendary circuits, but it is the Grand Prix layout, 3.89 kilometres, 35 degrees. That's wrong. On the right-hand side of your screen's more accurate information there. Easterly winds, 10 kilometre an hour, 10 o'clock in the morning, clock not moving, time is frozen. Wish we could do that in the real world sometimes. By gee, 5 months of 2026 has gone by way too quickly. 42% humidity, 31 degrees. The track temp, they're whinging and moaning about it being 35 ambient over there at the moment in the United Kingdom. I'm not sure they'd handle an Australian summer, 20 degrees, the ambient temperature at the moment. Grant Boyden is here, ladies and gentlemen. We've been promising this for a couple of weeks. He's in the house. Mate, a very good evening to you.
Yes.
Chaotic start, as per usual, on the platforms of the GSRC, but great to have you here, mate. Nice to have you at long last in the booth instead of in the comment section.
Thank you, Zach, and good. Hello, everybody. Hope you. I do think you're going to enjoy this race. It should be an absolute ripper. I always believe that God was a mad lover of motorsport. The fact that we're going to have a rolling start and all of these cars thundering down towards turn 1 at Brands Hatch under full noise with cold tyres. Yes, it is going to be fascinating. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait for it.
It was chaotic when we did it at Summit Point a couple of weeks ago, so Expect fireworks here in the early stages, but it's only appropriate that two of the four men of the championship and the newest arrival form three of the top four positions on the grid, and the other one is an old experienced hand in John Hoplat Merritt. Race 103 for the night. We expect it to be 6 laps long. Green flag flies at Brands Hatch. Fourth last round of Disruptive Labs Formula V underway. What a magnificent start from Sam Chapman. Look at John Merritt on the hop, skip and jump up in a second. And Brayden Sagassa and Lockie Purvis have ganged up on your team, mate, to go up into third and fourth. And Alex has dropped a couple of spots off the start there, Grant, but plenty of time to move forward.
How good a start for Chapman, though. He just absolutely nailed the start and gave himself a 0.6 second of a gap jump on them already. Vital at this track, and you can see he's using every piece of real estate. Big dramas in the background, though. A couple of them have gone off. Cooper involved in that as well.
Indeed, and Proctor was too. Proctor, Draper, Maroney also caught up. Cooper Friends dropped down 4 spots. They're very lucky they get 3 bites of the cherry here.
Nathan will be ropeable.
Yeah, and by gee, he's brought some brilliant pace to the table throughout the course of this season as well. He'll be hoping to improve throughout the course of the next couple of heats coming up very shortly, and he's got an extra 5 minutes on the clock when we get there as well. Through we go. Chapman, Merritt, Sagassa and Purvis, the top 4. There's Buckley's in this at the moment. 0.6 is not a margin in which you can allow to rest comfortably in Formula V, but Chabo's got his nose in front. Greg Padgett off the road now as well further back. And important to note that there's already a huge gap forming between Derek Fitzgerald in 7th and everybody else. Michael Adams, Ryan Tate, Brett Bradbury holding on to the invert pole at the moment as we make our way down into the final corner. 1 lap done. Just like that, although it is a very long run out of the final corner to the start-finish strike, so watch for that when we get to the end of lap 6 and some potential photo finishes here. John Merritt on the move. Chapo goes to the left, Merritt goes to the right, and here comes Brayden Sagassa down through the middle. And he wants to go 2 for the price of 1. He won't get there, but he will get John Merritt as Chapo continues to hold on to the lead.
Merritt did a great job there to defend second spot. He got a great run on Chapman, who pulled out about 0.8 of a second on that first lap, but in the closing stages, he seemed to be a little bit slow, and John Merritt just absolutely nailed those lefts and rights to close the gap. Look to the outside, and as you said, Brayden was sitting there waiting to pounce, and they almost went 3 wide into turn 1. That wouldn't have ended well.
No, not at all. I'm just having a look at our club president feeding bait in my direction from the rolling start comment there in the chat thread. Good evening to you, Josh. Down the back straight we go. Have a look. Borgershed's on the hop, skip and jump here as well. Down on the inside, looking for third, won't get there. And Purvis slots into 5th. Sagassa in behind Merritt. Merritt in behind Chapman. They've caught Chapo, so that little bit of breathing space he had has all but evaporated. This is a pack in 7 at the front. Michael Adams leads the next pack of cars down the road in 8th. You can just see them at the top of the previous shot. And 3 minutes gone just like that. Quick update from pit lane. Actually, I feel like I should be going to you on this, Grant. This is your neck of the woods. Cooper Friend on the tow rope at the moment. Adam Proctor has been on the tow rope. He's got back out on the track. He is a lap down almost. And Nathan Maroney, your teammate, very quickly in for the fast repair, 2.2 seconds. John Merritt, meanwhile, goes to the front, down on the inside of Sam Chapman. He's going to lead at the strike. That's Lockie Purvis hanging himself out to dry. High line on the run down to turn 1. Here comes Chapman, and here comes Alex down on the inside for second. He won't get there just yet.
Alexander doing a great job. He's moved his way forward, still side by side with Chapman, but take nothing away from Merritt. Got a great one out of that second last left-hander and just absolutely nailed it. Got to look up the inside as they came onto the start-finish straight, and unfortunately for Sam Chapman, he's going backwards at a rate of knots.
One of the great Hall of Famers of the GSRC just slid into the YouTube comments. Hello, Trent Lavis. Good evening to you. I noticed that you booked tickets to go to the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix in October. Lucky so-and-so. We'll come back to that a little bit later on. Hopefully see you back in the rig at some point too, please. Down the back straight we go. This is a massive battle 7 cars deep. Here's Alex down the outside. Thanks very much, John Merritt, for the tow, but I'll lead it from here, he says. No, you won't, says John Merritt, who holds on the inside. 2 by 2 we go. Merritt's got no dance partners with him at the moment, though, and Alex is going to go around the outside and take the lead for the first time tonight. Chapman, Purvis, Sagasa, Adam Lavis, the brother of Trent in the comments section there, Grant, and of course Derek Fitzgerald, who has the fastest lap of the race. With the tow, it's a huge assistance to anyone trying to clock a lap time here, and those bonus points are a talking point come the end of the season as well. He sits there in 7th, and Fitzgerald's got the best seat in the house. No urgency on his part to try and move forward at the moment.
Just under 5 minutes left to go in this race, and Alexander Burgersherd leading at the moment. It's interesting because Formula V, you don't want to always be leading, but Alex is comfortable in that position. And hey, let's be honest, he's battling out the top 3 in the world in the championship, so he knows what this is all about. He's got some very stiff opposition wanting to have a go at him, sitting right behind him. It's great how the top 7 have stayed absolutely nose to tail here.
Indeed they have. Merritt fends off Chapman on the inside. He's got to worry about Lockie Purvis, and Sagas is there as well. Chapman with 2 wheels in the dirt, if you don't mind. He'll slide into 3rd right now. I was really impressed, Grant. You would have seen this last week. Chapo taking the fight to Alex there in the closing stage of the first race at Tsukuba. We'll be hoping to go one better tonight as they make their way around to the left-hander and go down the back straight again. This roller coaster downhill run. And here's John Merritt trying to do what Alex did here in the previous time round and go around the outside. Oh, millimetres in that. It's a fine line between pleasure and pain, the song once said, Grant, and that very nearly was pain for both of them.
Well, Alex has lost a heap of momentum as a result of that. He tried to stick side by side. Chapman's got right up onto his tail and started to challenge there. A good move by John Merritt. Went around the outside, maintained that gap between the two of them. Very difficult to do with somebody who's over in Europe because netcode's a big thing as well.
Yeah, exactly right. But he's going to lead it back to the line at the end of the 4th lap. We're looking at the clock. There's only 3 minutes to go. 2 laps at the line. 1 minute 44.537, the best lap we've seen so far. No, John Merritt goes down the inside and takes Borgersherd back to 2nd spot now. And here comes Chapman up the outside. So the 2 Aussies are going to pounce on the international superstar to commence the penultimate lap. Merritt's going to lead him to turn 1, Chapman to 2nd. And now Chapman around the outside of John Merritt. He says, this is my championship hot lap, tuck back in. No, Merritt wants to force the issue down on the inside to go to the right hander, one of the slowest points on the circuit. And Merritt has his nose back in front. Chapman 2 wheels in the dirt and gathered it up quite nicely. Can Burgersherd get it from 3rd? Let's wait and see. A lap and a half to go.
That was good driving by Chapman. He was worried about touching Merritt and run a little bit wide, got 2 wheels off onto the grass, managed to hold down 2nd spot. But yeah, there's not just Alexander, but there's a stack of drivers sitting right behind that are all going to get a great slipstream now as Chapman goes for a run on Merritt. Sitting right behind him, Alexander sitting in a box seat, but nowhere to go. The road is blocked. I think these guys know exactly what they're doing. Chapman tries to go around the outside here. What can he do? Very close between those two as they go through the right-hander, and hard under brakes this time around is going to be fascinating.
Oh, this is astonishing stuff, and look at what's happening behind them as well, mate. Michael Adams and Brett Bradbury have joined the party. Bradbury yet to latch on. We're going to have a race in 9 to commence the final lap here in Heat 1. You've picked a good night to make your GSRC debut, Grant Boyden. Alex has got up in a 4th spot. Fends off Braden Sagasa. It's Linus Stern. It's Merritt. It's Chapman and Purvis. Back to the start-finish line to see Barney and hopefully the white flag this time by. We say hopefully because Barney's been a bit slack. He's been a bit MIA. Oh, trouble in the back. Off go Bradbury and Adams. The 2 that were joining the party are the first to show themselves out the front door.
Understeer would have caused that, I would dare say. We'll check later. Chapman now having a look on Merritt as they come down into turn 1. Tries the switchback, gets a beautiful run out of turn 1. Almost runs into the back of Merritt. Squeezed for room, but finds a way past into the braking area. Chapman on the inside gets the position done. Well done. What great driving.
Very smart from John Merritt as well. Grant, he fights back on the inside to the left-hander. Thank you very much, Chappo. You're going to have to work a little bit harder than that. He gave Chapman the racing room required to make sure they get through their 2x2. I want to come back to that 2-wide point in just a moment, because it might be a first in Formula V competition to have the road blocked when they're only 2 wide, not 3, 4 or 5. Down the back straight we go. Merritt, Chapman, Purvis, Sagasa, the 219 boys. Standout performers in 3 different categories so far this term on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, but they've got their work cut out for them here. Chapman, Merritt to the inside. Here comes Lockie Purvis, looking for another race win in this Disruptive Labs Formula V season. Still a race in 7 at the front with only half a lap to go. Borgershed's boxed out of it at the moment. It's a long way back from there, but never say never, because the one thing that we haven't seen yet is these guys at the front locking horns, locking wheels. Chapman's wide, but Merritt will sweep around and lead them down towards the final corner, but it works in Chapman's favour to be second here. If he can get a dream run off the final corner, watch for the photo finish. They're hugging the inside of the racetrack now. Borgershed's got back into 5th spot. Fitzgerald and Lavis have swapped around. Round onto the main straight we go. Merritt, Chapman, checkered flag's going to fly across the strike we go. Purvis has pipped Chapman. Chapman has been pipped. Merritt will get through. Chapman only just in a photo over Purvis, and Derek Fitzgerald from nowhere has gone 4th. Braden Sagasa, Adam Lavis. Somehow in all of that, I don't know what happened, but Alex Burgershed's been relegated to 7th. He didn't get the run required onto the main straight. What on earth was that? .08 Grant covered the top 3.
There was so many cars understeering coming through that final turn as they refused point blank to get off the accelerator. They just wanted to maintain the momentum. It made for a fascinating finish, but well done to John Merritt. Sam Chapman hopped straight into voice chat and he said, "Great race, everyone," but you could hear in his voice it was, "Thank goodness that is over."
Absolutely. I mean, it's great for Chapo. It's only Merritt that's pipped him there because it keeps Chapo's championship aspirations firmly alive. Merritt a little bit of a late arrival this season in Formula V, but still a masterclass performance and one of the best operators in this category we've ever had here on the platforms of the GSRC. Derek Fitzgerald, what about that? From 7th to 4th, and at the expense of Alex Burgershed. Now, let's go and be completely brutally honest here, ladies and gentlemen. I've taken pronunciation lessons from the great man with regards to Alex, so I hope that we've ticked the box there.
Which is probably the most dangerous thing you've done this week.
Exactly. We've got some highlights of the formation lap, actually, there, very funnily enough, ladies and gentlemen, coming through right now. The sponsor approves, of course. That is Richo Adam, of course, from Disruptive Labs, giving his thumbs up there with regards to what we've just seen. We've got the cars lining up again for the invert top 10 second heat. Can we have a look? Sorry, Schmitty, can we have a look at the results from that first race, just to give everybody at home an indication of just how tight that was? I didn't actually pick up what happened in behind them. Brendan Nealon got the invert pole position, and .167 covered the top 5, and .413 covered the top 7. That is why we turn up on a Thursday night. That is why we love Formula V. Unbelievable. We will go around the grounds at the end of Formula V, ladies and gentlemen, give you an update on AFL Thursday Night Football, Women's State of Origin as well. Don't talk to me about the men. My goodness, what an interesting roller coaster ride that was last night. But Grant, while we've got this opportunity, mate, you're no stranger to Formula V sim racing commentary. Let's give that a little bit of a plug, because if anyone's at home on a Monday morning, they've got some Formula V that they can sink their teeth into online.
Yeah, absolutely. Alexander and Nathan and all those guys racing what used to be known as the Big V Series, put on by TRG. It's called the Formula V Trophy Series. Some of the world's best doing battle, absolute amazing battles on oval tracks, on all. They just throw every sort of racetrack they can in. Grand Prix tracks. We were at Interlagos last week, and you will see, like, not dissimilar to what we've got here. Formula V racing is grassroots racing, and it's some of the best racing that you could ever watch. And we're lucky to get this a couple of times a week. So we'd love you to tune in and check it out.
I'm at home on Monday morning. The NASCAR is on from Nashville. I reckon I'll have the double screen setup going on, Grant. I cannot wait. Hey, the other point as well, mate, when you alerted my attention to that, I must admit I was pleased to hear that you still dip the toe into the water with regards to motorsport commentary, because paid television audiences now would normally associate with the other form of horse racing and racing of the greyhound and thoroughbred variety, and also the harness as well. But it's nice to still dip the toe in the water after all these years.
What's really great about it is I came out of retirement to help out the Formula V Trophy Series, and I've absolutely loved it. I'm having so much fun being back, because we're not doing it for cash, we're not doing it for contracts, we're doing it because we just love the sport, and because I get to race against most of these guys in the Formula V Trophy Series. You know them back to front, not dissimilar to how you know these guys, Zach.
You mentioned the key word there being racing. I want to come back to your own personal sim racing exploits a little bit later on so that we can find out where and when we can catch you on track as well, because it is a completely different beast, isn't it, compared to just sitting here and talking about it, being out there in the thick of the action. Let's remind everybody of the grid here as we get through the final part of this formation lap for what is the 20th race of the season. I apologise if you feel as though you can hear the local pound in the background. Mum and Dad's pups are going ballistic at the moment. I'm not sure what about.
But there it is.
Yeah, exactly. Brendan Neal and Michael Adams. They're yelling because I'm yelling. Brendan Neal and Michael Adams front row. Jordan Pianazzola, thank you for filling in last night, mate. Alex Borgersrud there in second spot. Then, of course, we go back to Adam Lavis and Braden Sagasa third row, Derek Fitzgerald, Lockie Purvis fourth row, Sam Chapman, John Merritt fifth row. And behind them, Brett Bradbury, Joel and Hanson, Will Ramsden. Ryan Tate did nothing in that first race. Jaden Draver, Mark Register, Michael Fisher, and then Nathan Marotta, Jordan Dakin, Greg Padgett, all the guys that ran into trouble early on. Hoping to bounce back in race two. By gee, we had wheels in the grass early. Was that Michael Fisher maybe? And Sam Chapman as well. Chapman. Oh.
Chapman was straight into chat. He obviously didn't like something that transpired. Alexander dives up the inside, battling for second now. He got third. He's side by side with Adams. Loved Adams' helmet too, by the way. The cross eyes on the front of that let you know what it's all about. And out in front, Brendan is just pulling away superbly. Nailed the start.
3 wide further back as they try and sort themselves out. Whenever we invert the field, it ends up being a scrambled mess out in the dirt. That was Alex out in the dirt, doing some whipper-snipping on the run down the back straight. He's already under pressure from Braden Sagasa. And in behind them, Adam Lavis and Lockie Purvis and Derek Fitzgerald and Jordan Draper as well, if you don't mind. It's a race in 7 in the wall and gone. Goodbye, Derek Fitzgerald.
Borgershaw's around. He's taken
about it. Nothing he could have done about it, and have a look at this. Alex is off the road, so too is Lockie Purvis. Chapo will be feeling a hell of a lot better about life after all of that. 4 of them down in the weeds and down in the wars on the opening, 2 sectors of the first lap. We expect this to be 9 laps long, ladies and gentlemen, just because we've got a rolling lap. Let me come back to one of my pet gripes about Australian motorsport a little bit later on, Grant, but at least the clock starts when the green flag flies here. We don't lose time out of the race through the formation lap, so this is 15 minutes go to woe. 9 laps the expected journey. Fitzgerald and Borgershaw's already off the road again, so they're struggling to limp it back to pit lane to get a fast repair. When's he ever going to have some luck in these invert races, Grant? We watch the replay now, and unfortunately, 4 into 1 was never going to go.
Yeah, I was just watching the replay there. Yeah, Borgershaw's looks like he just made contact with the car that was on his inside and got turned around. Nothing that could be done, though. 3 wide at that point and at proceedings, and that just caused absolute carnage there. So it'll be interesting to see what the stewards have got to say.
So Purvis has gone to pit lane, so too is Borgershaw's. Then also, Will Ramsden started from pit lane. And Chapo's been in for his fast repair as well. Now Adam Proctor's off the road. This is more a case of who's going to stay on the road as to who's going to yield the reward, or reap the reward, I should say, in grabbing a race win. So they sort themselves out. A big battle pack forming there behind John Merritt in position number 7, all the way to Joel and Hanson in 12th. Nathan Maroney leads the next pack of cars, which includes Patrick Savina, Michael Fisher and Mark Register. We've got the battle for 7th on screen now with Ryan Tate, one of last week's race winners, in there. And he drove beautifully in that invert race as well, I thought. He's got to try and work his way past Jordan Pianazzola and Cooper Friend to then get ahead of John Merritt. Couple of wheels in the dirt there. That's nothing unusual for these Formula Vs. I was interested in your comments in the opening race there. It was really good defence work, I agree, by John Merritt and Sam Chapman, mate. But it's the first time I've ever looked at Formula V's being 2x2 as a roadblock situation. Normally these are no stranger to being 3 or 4 wide. It was really good racecraft because the way they parked it, he only had half a car width left and half a car width right, and that wasn't enough.
And that's the fun of racing at tracks like Brands Hatch, which would nowadays be considered goat tracks in many respects because of how narrow they are compared to how big the race cars are. And while all that was going on too, Michael Adams has gone back to second. He just got it really, really loose in the double left-hander at the bottom of the hill. And Sagasa was able to just get a beautiful run on him and a very clean overtaking manoeuvre. Now Adams is sitting in the slipstream. They've pulled out a bit of a gap on Maverick back there in third spot, so there's a bit of breathing space for him now just to settle it down, but doesn't do that, just gets it very, very loose out on the track. The joys of Formula V racing.
It's one of those things where it's, especially when they get out in the drift, in the weeds there, it's part normal circuit racing, it's part drift work. That was very impressive from, I think it was Joel and Hansen or Jordan Dakin actually, to stay on the black stuff there after a little bit of a hop, skip and jump. Your teammate, Alex, has managed to get himself back up at a 22nd spot because Lockie Purvis is back on pit road. So a second transit of the lane for Lockie Purvis. Not ideal. Another black flag. Let's see what happened. Uh-oh.
This is the pass for first.
This
the
was the
Grant
pass.
just talking about, yes.
So that was Braden going through on the inside of Michael Adams, and that's cleanly done. At the other end of the field, Lockie Purvis. No, that's right. The 1-9 boys, top and tail of the field at the moment, and very different stories to tell as we go back and pick up Brendan Nealon. So from the invert pole back to 7th at the moment. Who's in the invert pole at the moment? Michael Fisher in 15th spot in the invert pole position for the feature race. Alex from 22nd. I dare say if the team boss was in his ear, the message would be just to stay out of trouble in the early part of race 3, Grant.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the difficult part in Formula V racing, because somebody just makes the slightest mistake in front of you and it can cost you a massive amount of time, because these cars are all about momentum, as we all know.
Jordan Pianazola's off the road. Jordan Pianazola is off the road. He's dropped out of and more trouble ahead. Nathan Moroney. Oh, can you believe that? He just got served up. An exit stage left. Moroney lights it up. A flick spin in a Formula V. 10 points for that. As he resumes in position number 18 now. But, oh, no. If he didn't have bad luck tonight, he'd have no luck at all. He's just not had the run of the mill here. It's not gone his way. Hopefully, he will be able to get a turnaround in fortunes in race 3. 3 wide down the back straight. My goodness. Merritt around the outside of both Draper and Nealon. It was Draper that was in the dirt doing the drift work a few moments ago. I couldn't quite pinpoint the name of the driver involved there, but Draper behind Brett Bradbury at the moment. They are 4th, 5th and 6th on your screens. Brendan Nealon just back in 7th, and then they've got daylight between themselves, Ryan Tate, Cooper Fred and Joel Hansen. It's a race in 2 at the front. Credit where credit is due. Michael Adams put... Oh, no, there we go. Goodbye, Brett Bradbury. See you next week. Oh, dear. Bradbury's going to plummet outside the top 10 here because Patrick Savina's going to come through and take that away from him as he resumes on the racetrack. Very unfortunate for Brett Bradbury. 3 wide as they get down towards the final corner, and Bradbury's lost out and gone back to 12th. He's still in the invert, but a lot further down the order than what he would have liked to be. Sagasa and Adams. The good thing about Michael Adams, he did it with Ryan Tate last week. He's done it with John Merritt in the past. He has the ability to follow the leader and follow well. It'll be interesting to see whether he decides to put a move on Braden Sagasa here and go no guts, no glory sort of approach. I'll be interested to see how he plays this last few laps, Grant.
I just can't believe how much contact there is in this second race. It's Formula V racing. It's a gentleman's sport.
Well, they were so well behaved in the first race as well. It's always...
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. We said the same thing in the karting last week in Grenfell, and hello to anyone from Karting New South Wales who might be tuning in, by the way. And I say this with the greatest respect. They said, we had such a tame day on Saturday. That doesn't bode well for Sunday. Usually when the prizes are on the line, the whips are cracking, it usually ends up being a little bit more chaotic. Thankfully, That wasn't to be the case. We got on the road remarkably early, and we had a very fun weekend out. Next stop is Manning Valley, up near Wingham and Old Bar and Taree, those parts of the world, on the third weekend of June, which we're looking forward to. Braden Sagassa, Michael Adams, hopefully they'll get it all out of their system though, mate, for race 3, which will be coming up very shortly. We've got a 2-minute warm-up lap in between, session in between races 2 and 3. Adam Lavis and John Merritt and Jaden Draper, 3rd, 4th and 5th. And off the road again is Greg Padgett. And that's to the benefit of Burgersherd, who's got up into 21st spot now, but still a far cry from where we would normally like to see him running in the pecking order. Braden Sagassa and Michael Adams, they are 2.6 seconds clear of Adam Lavis, who's holding on to 3rd, and John Merritt has continued to come back through to 4th, just proving how hard it is to do what Sam Chapman did at Summit Point a couple of weeks ago and be first across the strike in all 3 Formula V races. But still, Merritt, a top 5 finish, he can't turn his nose up at that.
Yeah, and that's an outstanding performance. Unless you've raced in these cars in the competitions like this, you don't realise how difficult that is to do. But I mean, look at Lockie Purvis at the moment. We were watching him earlier on. Great speed, very, very good car control, and he's about to be lapped by 8th. So race continues on, out in front. Brandon doing a good job. He's almost got enough gap now to cement himself into that spot, but Adams is able to stay in the slipstream, which is important for him. At least it keeps him away from the battle for 3rd spot, but whether he can actually make an attack in these closing couple of laps remains to be seen. He's still got 5 more laps to go. In behind him, you've got Maverick back there in 3rd, and John Merritt finds his way up into 4th and is absolutely flying at the moment. His previous lap, a 1:44.3. That's faster than the guys that are in front of him by a considerable margin, Zach.
Can I just apologise? I went reaching for my handkerchief to get rid of the running tap that is my nose at the moment and cut the cord. So I was offline for about 3 seconds there. I'm glad Grant was able to fill the gap in for me. And Kurt Nommenson, good evening to you. That's perfectly understandable that you won't be in the booth to have a post-race yarn with us, considering you've got a 1 a.m. start for work. Rather you than me, son. Good luck with that. And good luck in the Porsches as well. We'll see you in the open split race, which we're broadcasting at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, the elite split feature soon after that. We are on lap 7 of 9 here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Braden Sagassa leads from Michael Adams. We've got our eyes on the 2 leaders. When we look back through the season so far, Braden Sagassa, very prominent front runner in the first couple of weeks. First place in the early race, the first race of round 1, the first race of round 2, and the first race of round 4. And then, of course, was not on track last week. So when we go and have a look at the points at the end of the night, he does have a 0 drop round at his disposal. We talk about those 0 drop rounds. A, as a point of importance, because it's less points that you're actually dropping in the matrix. But secondly, as a point of, well, hang on, you can't afford to have another blip in the road, because then you've got nothing to fall back on. We do have 2 drop rounds at our disposal, and he's burnt one of them already, has Braden Sagassa. Down the back straight again. And this battle is heating up very nicely. So this is 11th and 10th. Changing hands, 11th and 12th. Proctor through on the outside of Brett Bradbury. Ryan Tate just goes off the road ahead of these boys. They're going to gobble up Ryan Tate at the moment. There he was on the inside of the curb cam, returning to the racetrack, and he's dropped down to position number 13. So the beneficiaries of that include Pianazzola to 9th, Proctor to 10th, Bradbury to 11th, and Savina to 12th. And they'll get back to the line and have 2 laps to go. So Sagassa, Adams, Daylight, and then nothing really. Just a elongated sort of processional, uninspired sort of run, quite frankly, by Formula V standards. Very tame, very calm, with Lavis, a good gap back to Merritt, a good gap back to Draper and Nealon. Nealon under pressure from Frank. Ren Hansen, Pianazzola. Ryan Tate's going pit lane. Does he have he got a mechanical meat pool, that's why. So he's on the road to pit lane, so he's going to plummet down behind Maroney and Burgersherd. So your 2 teammates are going to really lap that up, because they'll be the beneficiaries of any sort of extended time that Ryan Tate spends on pit lane. Although, actually, unfortunately, Alex is too far back, actually, to save himself in that regard. So he'll be lining up just behind Nathan Maroney on the 11th row of the grid at the start of the third race. Cooper Friend's just gone up ahead of Brendan Nealon. So Cooper Friend from 23rd on the grid, Grant. That's gone unnoticed until now. 23rd on the grid up at a 6, 17 positions gain. Drive of race 2 goes to Cooper Friend at this point in time, and he's got Brendan Nealon keeping a close eye on him, and that is the battle for position number 6 at the moment. I'm just trying to work out, I think that might be Lockie Purvis in behind them, trying to give them a little bit of a hurry up, and he's a lap down, so it's in his best interest to try and stay out of that battle as best he can, because race control don't view it too favourably when lap cars get caught up in incidents.
And Zach up front, towards the front of the field, now battling for third spot is John Merritt, who's got a great run on Draper, and they go side by side into the final turn. What you're saying about Cooper Friend is exactly right. I've been watching him charging his way through the field. He's been racing very, very smooth. Now Merritt gets a great run, goes side by side. He's shown so much more pace. All he needs to do is be able to stick his nose in front and slam the door. Doesn't slam the door, stays wide, and Maverick decides, no, I won't be my namesake. I'll back out of this one and hold down 4.
Absolutely. That was very, very nicely done from Adam Lavis to give way to John Merritt there. He had no choice. Merritt just had too much pace and climbed up over the top of him. If practice is anything to go off in open, it should be good racing, says Kurt Nominson with regards to Zandvoort, another one of those potential GOAT tracks that we talk about, Grant. We'll get back to that very shortly. Sam Chapman, fastest lap of the race from that incident at the very start. Fastest lap of the race for him, 1 minute 43.943 that last time round, and he's got himself back to 11th. Firmly the winner out of all of those that have run into trouble so far in this 15-minute affair. Clock is about to expire. We're on the run home. Michael Adams has gone to the front on Braden Sagasa. That went unnoticed. A hard-earned thirst, and Michael Adams leads Braden Sagasa with half a lap to go at Brands Hatch. Now, does the Gasman play the long game here and tuck in and try and get the slipstream on the run to the line, or is Michael Adams about to join an ever-growing winners list in Disruptive Labs Formula V? Quarter of a lap to go, 2 corners to go. He's just got to get it through the last one cleanly and then hope that he can fend off Braden Sagasa in that roller coaster drag race down the main straight. To the last corner we go. Sagasa dives down the inside. Adams will try and hold on around the outside. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Sagasa ranges up alongside, draws clear of Michael Adams. Photo finish number 2 of the night looming, ladies and gentlemen. No, Braden Sagasa denies Michael Adams a race win in Disruptive Labs Formula V. 4th one of the season for the Gasman. 1-9 back in business.
I can't believe Michael left the door open. He tried to just dart out at the final moment and get a wide run into the turn, and Braden went, that'll do me, and goes straight up the inside and manages to out-drag him down towards the start-finish line. Great driving by both.
Have a look at that. 4 of them separated by 0.15 of a second. Chapman edged out Bradbury, Savina and Ramsden. My goodness, and then further back, Dakin got the better of Proctor. Mark Regis is going to get the invert pole. No luck for Jordan Pianazola in 16th. Then Michael Fisher, Derek Fitzgerald and Nathan Moroney from 19th. Ryan Tate, and hopefully the 2 teammates will work alongside one another in tandem because Alex is going to finish this one on pit road, believe it or not. He's made his way. Oh, he's got a black flag. That's why. He's got a black flag on the last lap. Will that be for incident points? Oh, adding insult to injury, unfortunately for Burgersherd. He's gone back into pit lane there at the end of this 9th and final lap. And this was the move that brought Ryan Tate undone. Oh, he got fed. He got fed. Oh, dear. Race Control will have fun reviewing the tape tonight, Grant. They've done a bit of overtime the last couple of weeks.
I think they're going to be doing a little bit of overtime tonight, to be fair, Zach. That was one of the most bizarre Formula V races I've seen. Usually, at least the top, 5 or 6 or 8 are nose to tail, but they just bridged themselves out, and the battles were the hard charges coming back through the field, which made it absolutely fascinating for the midsection, for the points further down the pecking order. But very bizarre, very bizarre.
We've got 2 minutes here just before wheels turn in anger again for the start of the 3rd and final one of the night. Well, I say before wheels turn, that'll actually be for the warm-up lap. So we've actually got about 4.5 minutes now before we'll be into full play-by-play commentary once more. Grant Boyden Racing. I couldn't help but notice when I typed the name Grant Boyden into YouTube earlier this afternoon, Grant Boyden Racing was the first thing that came up because besides being a well-known motorsport commentator, mate, and going back many, many years, as I said a couple of weeks ago when you slid into the chat thread, you've started doing a little bit of this alongside the likes of Alex and Nathan. How long's that been a part of the side hustle of Grant Boyden, please?
Probably seriously for about probably a year and a half in total, I think. But hey, Zach, you've probably heard people say this to you in your broadcasting career. There's two types of people, two types of sportsmen in the world: those that can do it and those that talk about it. So when you see me out on track, and I will be out on track in this series, I want to come and play here. This is good. Well, you won't see me too much because I'll be at the back of the pack, but I'll be having fun nonetheless.
And we were delighted, actually, when you did mention to us a couple of weeks ago that you are intending to get into the mix here and join up on the platforms of the GSRC. Hopefully, we'll get you back in the booth before the end of the Formula V season as well. But looking forward to seeing you out there. We won't pick your brain. We won't put the pressure on you of saying, here, Grant, take us for an onboard lap, talk us through it. We won't do that to you. That'd be just a bit too cruel. But aside from the Formula V, mate, you were saying to me off air, and I don't mind disclosing this, and I'm sure you don't either, that when it comes to racing, the more endurance, the longer the race, the better.
I love it. I love endurance racing. I mean, the Nürburgring 24-hour, we did that the other week, even though we had computer issues and all sorts of things going wrong. It's just so much fun. I am all about endurance, and Nathan and Alex and a very, very good friend of mine, another YouTuber, Jason, helps me put together this team, and we go with a group of other guys, all go out and compete in endurance racing as part of the Simline Academy outfit. And it's just so much fun. It's really a bunch of blokes sitting around having fun playing with boys' toys. You know, that's what it's like at the end of the day. And we put in a lot of practice and a lot of effort to try and, fly the flag. We're yet to do that, but we're not giving up. We're not giving up. We just want to keep going with it because it's what real racing is to me.
Exactly right. And the first rule of racing, I was always told, is to have fun. Anything after that's a bonus. The results and the silverware and everything else. The first rule is to have fun. And at the end of the day, if we didn't have fun, we wouldn't enjoy it. And mate, you've been around long enough to have witnessed a lot. Let me ask you this. I look at what happened during the 2 years of the pandemic, and I look at how sim racing, A, benefited so much, and then B, on top of that, somewhat reinvented itself and continued to shine and grow and continues to do so 5 years later. It is unbelievable the way in which sim racing has become such a normal part of our ritual now, and amazing that it took something as big as, everybody into your own homes, into solitary confinement, for it to happen that way.
The thing is, Zach, it was a V8 supercar driver that who'll remain nameless who put me on to iRacing in the first place. You've got Formula One drivers, you've got IndyCar drivers, you've got NASCAR drivers, you've got nobody drivers like me, all competing against each other, which is just what it's all about. And I had a group of people we raced at the Bathurst 12-hour in sim racing. We had a group of people that were complaining about the cost of iRacing, how you've got to buy it. Man, I paid, $19 a month for this game, right? There was $500,000 budget if you had your own car. If you already had your own car, it was $500,000 budget to race in the Bathurst 12-hour. Tell me how expensive this is again, please.
Well, that's exactly right. And there have been a lot of people that have been able to use this platform purely because they have the budget to perform here and shine and thrive here and not in the real world. They've been able to ply their trade here, make a name for themselves here. And I know it has opened the door for some, but not everybody, to go and then do the thing in the real world. One of our former members, believe it or not, actually led laps in the real world Coke 600 on Monday morning, no names mentioned, of course, at this particular point in time. But yes, it's a small world when you look at how intertwined the real world and the sim world was back in the COVID era. Just extraordinary stuff. And again, budget racing, we love it. We might actually look at it being an ongoing expense. Every time new content comes around, everyone's like, oh, geez, I haven't bought that yet. I've got to, find some funds. But imagine trying to go to the showroom floor and buy the latest Porsche in the real world. We're talking 6-7 figures, and I just don't have that. And I'm not cut out for what would we call them, adult pay-per-view websites.
Based on the way some people drive in open lobbies, I can assure you they couldn't afford the repair bill, let alone the car.
Exactly right. The boys from Miller Motorsport, of course, they're here doing league racing just for practice in real life XL racing.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And that's
Yeah.
that nice little correlation as well. We haven't had a look at a grid yet. Mark Register and Adam Proctor to the front row. We've already got Cooper Friend off the track on the warm-up lap. There he is. He's going with a stipping on the warm-up lap. That's probably the best time to do it. Second row, Jordan Dakin and Will Ramsden. Third row, we've got a couple that are not starting. Patrick Savina and Ryan Tate out for the night. So rub them out. Brett Rubbery, Sam Chapman, Jolan Henson, Brendan Nealon and Cooper Friend make up the top 10. And behind that, Jaden Draper, Adam Lavis, John Merritt, Michael Adams and Braden Sagas make up the top 15. Who will benefit from a third roll of the dice? Let's find out. Beautiful start. Mark Register leads the field down towards turn one. Look at Adam Proctor up on the outside, trying to fend off the attack of Jordan Dakin, unable to do so, and through the middle and then to the inside went Chapo. Chapo's going to second, up 5 spots already. Sure, benefits from the fact that Patrick Savina and Ryan Tate aren't on the grid, but you've got to take those opportunities when they're presented to you. And Chapo, once he gets clear air, is going to be hard to stop in this one.
Was always a brave manoeuvre to dive it down the inside there into turn one, but Chapman was equal to the task, and he's not done yet. Problems in the background, though, towards the back of the pack. A stack of cars going off, Zach.
Michael Fisher's involved. Will Ramsden's just got off the road as well. And Derek Fitzgerald too. Thankfully, it looks like your boys have been able to avoid incidents so far, Grant, but let's not speak too soon. We don't want to put the marker on them. Fitzgerald and Fisher done. They're on the tow rope and out of business. Sharpman to the inside goes to the lead. Proctor and Register, now the gloves are off. Draper, John Merritt comes through. Draper's well wide and dropping a bunch of spots in behind Michael Adams there. He rejoins in 9th spot now. Jolan Hanson, Nathan Maroney. Maroney up 8 spots early on. Have a look at that. And Alex is up 3 spots too. So the going's been a little bit tougher for him in the early stages, but Maroney almost on the cusp of the top 10. Have a look at this. Those white lines, boys. The aim of the game is to try and stay between them, but then again, oh no, there goes Mark Register. He's done, and that puts him well down the order. He turns it back around, but the fact that he had it pointed the wrong way in the first place when the field was all bunched up meant that he dropped all the way down to position number 16, which is only one shy of where he finished the previous race to inherit the invert pole. There's still 2 and 3 wide coming down the main straight to sort themselves out at the end of the opening lap. Chapo's got clear air. Adam Proctor, a real world Formula V campaigner in his own right, going back many, many years. I had the fortune of calling him in the 50th anniversary meeting of Formula V back at what was then known as Wakefield Park, of course, now is known as the Shelley Palace, of course, with the work that Steve Shelley and his crew have done taking that over in Goulburn there. You'd have some fond memories of that particular real estate, Grant.
At Wakefield Park, I've seen quite a few crashes there. I actually did my first Formula 3 test drive there.
Now we'll have to come back and pick your brain on that one a little bit later on. I never got to do any test driving per se. I did get to take part in a track day, but it was just a stock standard VW Golf. I did get taken around there in an Oz car once, and in a super truck back in the day too, which was good fun, I must say.
They were fun.
Absolutely love watching the Formula V's. Always chaotic fun. Yeah, look at that. Fisher and Fitzgerald already with the mechanical meatballs. Fisher with 2 minutes and 7 on pit road. Fitzgerald almost the same amount of time. And they're both back heading on to the racetrack once more now. Borgershed's back there in position number 19. So we haven't seen him shine the usual way tonight. Hopefully he'll reset and come back with vengeance next week when we get to Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama. Cannot wait for that. Then on to Willow Springs, which is so underrated it's not funny. And then on to the West Circuit at Castor Shahin, the Ben Motorsport Park in South Australia.
Some great tactics going on up front for the battle for third. Braden Sagasa is giving John Merritt a bit of a bump draft here, trying to bridge that 3.4 second gap off to second spot. This is the third straight, in fact, that I've seen him do it as they go up towards turn one. He's just trying to give him a little bit more momentum to try and bridge the gap to second and first, which they can see up the road, but just out of arm's reach.
And Sagasa, we ride on board with him now that Grant's alerted our attention to this, ladies and gentlemen. Just watch how close for comfort he gets here. And you've got to trust the guy behind you in John Merritt's case to know that he's not going to get too close and bring everybody undone. As I said, that fine line between pleasure and pain.
Sorry, Zach. The catch-22 with bump drafting in a V is you close in behind them and you lift at the very last second, and then apply your nose to their rear end, so to speak, and then start on the accelerator again. Now they're going to make it a three-way draft here with Cooper right behind them as well. Very difficult to do, very easy to upset the car in front of you and launch him off to the ether.
And all of them happy to just stay in the status quo for the moment as well.
Well, that's the smart way. You know, that's the fast way. If you battle, you're going to lose time. And these guys have got a 3.7 second gap. They've actually pulled out in front because Chapman and Proctor aren't battling. If they start to battle, then these guys can close the gap at 1,000,000 miles an hour, as we all know. But not happening at the moment because they're doing the right thing. And that's making the guys in 3rd, 4th and 5th and with a very big job in front of them.
Adam Proctor's best chance at snagging a win so far in this campaign as well is right now. So he'll be aware of that. He might just try and make Chapo a little bit on edge, a little bit nervy, just by sitting there and continuing to apply the pressure. He won't jump now. He'll wait for his time. He'll bide his time. He'll wait for his moment. Michael Adams again, fastest lap of the race, 143.924. Around the outside goes John Merritt to 3rd. Down his inside is Cooper Friends. Sagasa back up on the outside. Michael Adams wants a piece of that as well. And Cooper a bit of a sitting duck there because he didn't have a dance partner at that particular point. Just an update further afield. Didn't see that Alex had to come to pit lane at the end of lap 1 either, so he's still down in 19th spot. Brett Bradbury there with him, so maybe an incident that we didn't see those boys getting caught up in is why Alex hasn't fired tonight. But as Grant said, top 3 in the world in this caper. We're going to see it here on your screen, no doubt. There it is, as they make their way up towards the left-hander. Oh dear, he just got served. Yeah, unlucky. He got he was the pinata of the field.
Yeah, a few moments ago up on the screen, there were more meatballs out there than a restaurant on Lygon Street, so I'm not surprised that it all goes back in there. And that's the problem. When you start further back, you're going to get caught up in incidents like that, unfortunately. We saw Cooper Friend have a big launch down at going into turn 1 on the previous lap, and that is exactly what I was talking about. The net result of trying that and not getting it done was a 0.5 of a second gap over 2nd and 3rd. They've been able to pull out.
Oh, Michael Adams.
From that. Wow.
Michael Adams gone, and thankfully got it out of the road because he was sitting right in the way of oncoming traffic. Very lucky. Unfortunately, brings to an end a very good run for him. 1 minute 43.924 was the fastest lap of the race. He now sits down in 14th spot without a toe. Long way back from there.
He was just carrying way too much brake into the turn, trying to bridge that gap and carry as much momentum through the turn as possible, and it just caught him out in the back of the car, stepped out. So hard luck there, but good effort anyway.
I'm just trying to think because I refer to the bend as Casa de Shahin, as you've already heard. I think we might call it the Shelley Mansion 1 Raceway. Down there in Goulburn. We'll think of something over the next couple of weeks. There's a track that we'd love to see on the subject of club racing, scanned into the iRacing universe in due course. Chapman, Proctor, Merritt, Sagasa, Friend and Maroney. Maroney up into 6th spot. You must be sitting there smiling like a Cheshire cat watching your teammate come for the top 5 here, mate. He's not too far away. Oh,
we know how good Nathan is. Nathan's so quick. Unfortunately for Nathan, I used to regard him as the Messiah, but in fact, as the movie goes, he's just a very naughty boy. He's been in a bit of trouble and has been on the sidelines for a little bit playing Farming Simulator, but great to see him back in the Formula V. And now he's cleaned out a few of the cobwebs. He's starting to work his way forward. Good on you, Nath.
No, it's very pleasing to see, and it doesn't take too much for him to pick up exactly where he left off to get that mojo back. And it's the same, you and I would be familiar. Every time you take 6 weeks off over Christmas or whatever the case may be, you always get through the first couple of days blowing out the cobwebs. You're a little bit dusty, a little bit rusty. Drivers are exactly the same. Some of them, however, it's like they've never left. And Maroney, in this 3rd race particularly, showing signs of old.
Well, he was 2/10 faster than anyone in front of him on the previous lap, and a good half second faster than 3rd, 4th and 5th. So gives you an idea that once he's cleaned out those cobwebs and gets into a rhythm and doesn't get caught up in somebody else's dramas, he's able to work his way forward rather well, and he's doing a great job at the moment.
And just like that, mate, 9 minutes are already elapsed, so only 6 to go, and there will be this and 3 laps to go. 2/3 race distance next time by the line. 75%, of course, the marker there is the end of lap 7 with regards to being classified or not. So far, 21 starters, 21 still running, a couple of those well out of contention. Unfortunately, Brett Bradbury, the best placed of anyone that's had to transit the lane so far. So not the night that Alex Burgershed would have been hoping for there in position number 19. His next target's Greg Padgett, but Padgett 16 seconds down the road at the moment. Jaden Draper under pressure here from Adam Lavis down the hill now. We've seen already tonight, and you're going to see it twice. Purvis on the outside of Piazzolla, if you don't mind. And Lavis unable to do the same. I thought he was going for the same move around the outside to get that momentum for the next corner. Piazzolla was able to get Purvis back and hold the inside. But so often tonight we've seen that outside line work. Not on this occasion. It is the rare exception to the rule. But this is the great thing, particularly in the Formula Vs. There's Purvis back down the inside, but he's more in defence mode now, trying to cover off both Draper and Lavis. This is a great thing about Brands Hatch. It might be a little bit of a goat track in the sense that, like all British circuits, Grant, it's very narrow and it's tight and technical, but it is open and flowing enough for these Formula Vs to be able to go 2x2 and for there to be no shortage of overtaking opportunities. The problem is, though, you've sometimes got to work 2 or 3 corners in order to be able to consolidate them, such as the evenness of both the inside and the outside line, and the potential for that up and under and switchback sort of racecraft, as well as you're seeing here on your screen. Draper gets by Purvis on the inside, ganging up on that also was Jordan Piazzolla. Oh no, there goes Lockie Purvis.
That is such a shame. He is so nuggety, isn't he? He'll have a go at absolutely anything, and he's been driving so well today as Maroney gets up into 5th spot now. He's made his way forward one more further up onto the pack, and he's starting to come into this charge with about 3.5 minutes left to go. But yeah, really disappointing for Lachlan. I really have enjoyed watching him race tonight.
And we'll say the same with regards to the other 6 weeks of the season so far as well. One of the form runners, when he can find that clear air and find that good fortune and stay out of trouble, one of the form men in this series so far. John Merritt up 10 spots. Braden Sagassa up 11, Nathan Maroney up 14, and Lockie Purvis up 12. So even with that spin, he's one of the biggest movers of the race so far. As we head towards 2 laps to go, we haven't touched base with Chapman and Proctor, but again, Proctor just sitting there, applying the pressure, trying to bring Chapo undone, just trying to force him into an unforced sort of error, if you like, round onto the main straight.
Even more so with that, because around this circuit, now when I say go track, I don't mean it to be disparaging to anybody. It's just, this is what it is. It's tight, it's twisty, it's got a lot of bumps. But at this sort of a place, and as we watch our race leader, he's doing all the work at the moment. Proctor's sitting there, looking after his tyres, not overheating them, and potentially when it comes push to shove in the next minute and a half or so, he may have a little bit more grip underneath him than the guy that's leading. He's certainly going to have the slipstream. So he's playing a smart move at the moment, but it's almost time for him to lay his cards on the table.
Absolutely. And as we saw earlier, you don't necessarily want to be leading onto the home straight. Chapo will be well aware of that. So it'll be interesting to see what he does from a race strategic standpoint, racecraft standpoint. He might set the trap up and lure Proctor into it, rather than Proctor applying the pressure onto Chapman, and it continues to climb and mount in various ways, shapes and forms. And just again, Proctor content to sit there and let Chapo sweat. No urgency to try and make the move here, but he's fast running out of time. Chapo knows that he probably doesn't want to lead to the main straight, Grant, but Proctor at the same time probably doesn't want to lead too early either.
And the smartest thing he's got is a 2.3 second gap back to third, so he knows that he can have a couple of goes and not rush the overtaking manoeuvre, but put Chapman under pressure. We've seen Chapman can handle the pressure very, very well, so it's going to be a fascinating final couple of laps.
White flag in the air this time by gentlemen. Here we go. Tighten the seatbelts one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. 1 to go at Brands Hatch. The 21st race of the season, the 7th round of Disruptive Labs Formula V. The winningest man of the tournament so far, on the cusp of his 2nd win of the night. And under serious pressure from an old, experienced hand of real-world Formula V competition, Adam Proctor. And have a look at Merritt under pressure from Sagasa as well. Friend and Maroney are also there, fighting for, it's like watching 4 dogs fight for 3 bones with regards to a top 5 finish or not. And at the moment, it is your team out on the outer of that, but winding up the slipstream down the back straight to find his way back into the top 5. Great recovery from 19th on the grid. Out along the back of the circuit for the final time. Chapo's led this from the outset, ladies and gentlemen. Wasted no time in getting to the front on the opening lap. Up 6 spots on the opening lap. And has fended off Adam Proctor ever since. But now is the time for Proctor to launch an attack. Down around the outside. Chapo well and truly up to the task right now. They're side by side across the backstretch. Chapo holds on. 3 wide further back. Merritt under pressure from Sagasa, and Friend and Maroney's dropped off completely. So the hopes of a top 5 have been completely dashed. Here comes Proctor down the inside of Chapman. Please and thank you. Have a look at this. Chapo had 2 wheels in the dirt. He's got the inside line for the left-hander. Proctor sweeps around the outside. No. Chapo slams the door shut. Now, can Chapo fend him off in the slipstream back to the strike? Last turn, checkered flag. Disruptive Labs Formula V delivering another showstopper at Brands Hatch. Not a photo finish this time round, however. Chapo well and truly has him covered. Second win of the night for Chapo. Merritt edges out. Sagasta in a photo for third. And Cooper Friend rounds out the top 5.
And
Holy cow!
It was generally a photo for third spot too. Merritt was behind Sagasa and just absolutely launched it as they came to the line. It was absolutely brilliant. Well done.
And Adam Lavis over Jordan Pianazzola and Jaden Draper in a photo for 7th as well. Maroney's come home a very lonely 6th in all of that. Only a 1/10 of a second covered Lavis and Draper. Then we go back to Taken and Purvis. That was the top 11. And then back to Michael Adams, Will Ramsden, Jolan Hansen, and Mark Register. Thank you to Miller Motorsport. I'll take the compliment. I'm feeling a little bit underdone tonight. I was just saying to Grant before we went on air, I hit the sick bed. I hit the sick bay straight after the broadcast Monday night. I didn't surface until about midday yesterday. So I'm coming in off the long run with very little prep and a little bit underdone, a little bit of a tickle in the throat, but I'll take the compliment. Yes, I'll agree with Miller. Jesus Christ, the photo finish guy is going to run out of film. Absolutely. Bit like Indianapolis on Monday morning. I think we can talk about it now. I didn't want to give away any spoilers on Monday night because obviously people still catching up from the big weekend. But Felix Rosenquist, that was unbelievable. More unbelievable was Scotty McLaughlin. How good's he been since he went overseas? I went overseas rather at the end of 2020. Unfortunately, last year, we all know what happened there. He bounced back beautifully, 3rd in the 500 and led laps as well, which was pleasing to see. Unbelievable. What do you make of all of that, Grant? I mean, obviously, you've commentated enough of this sim racing Formula VK, but to know how frantic it is. But the boys up their game, and after a very dirty, very unclean second race, they really improved and delivered top shelf entertainment in the third one.
Oh, and look, sometimes you'll get, it's not so much dirty as in people doing the wrong thing. You just get there, you find out you don't have the grip, and all of a sudden you've made, a goose of yourself and damaged a few people. It's very easy done. There's no malice in it, I suppose is the best way of putting it. But that last race was very, very good. Smart driving by so many of them through the field. They weren't doing silly overtaking maneuvers and costing themselves time out on the track. And it paid really good dividends for not just a good finish for first and second, third, fourth and fifth, but all the way down the pack. There were guys that were launching on the final lap to try and pick up an extra spot and more valuable points.
And that's what it's all about, particularly at this time of the campaign. I'm waiting to see who's going to slide into the green room to have a chat with us after all of that once they've caught their breath. Well done, Adam Proctor. Great pressure on Chapo every step of the way there, but the win still eludes him. 2 for the night for Chapo. You'll hear from him as per usual, ladies and gentlemen, after the Porsches, because he's going to go and try and maintain his championship lead there as well. Alex just admitted not his best day on track. That crash in race 2 was 100% on him, so he's owning that. I don't mind that, Grant. I don't mind when they have a bit of step up and own it, because sometimes race drivers aren't necessarily well known for doing that.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And as you know, I know both Alex and Nathan, and I know they're the type that do put their hand up when they've done the wrong thing, and we've all done it. We've all done it. So no harm, no foul. If you accept response, and you've done it yourself in open lobbies, you'll get there and you'll have a crash with somebody, you'll hit the red line within your brain, you'll have steam coming out your ears, and the guy goes, "Sorry, mate, that was my fault." And all of a sudden, you lose it all because they've just made a mistake. It happens. We're not professional motorsport people. We're just people out there sharing a passion.
Are you able to stick around as we get through the post-race show here, please, Mr. Boyd?
I can't wait to hear what these guys have got to say. That looked like as fun as hell out there. I can't wait to be out there.
Excellent, because we want to get a couple of final thoughts from you in just a moment. On the way to Braden Sagassa and John Merritt, who've slid into the booth for a chat here, ladies and gentlemen. Very one-sided affair in Thursday night football. Spoiler alert, apologies. The Hawks, 7-6-48. On the cusp of the end of the second quarter, lead St Kilda 4 behinds by 44 points, and 4 all in the women's Origin dead rubber between New South Wales and Queensland on the Gold Coast as well. Yeah. Alex is not taking the blame for race 3.
I like Miller's comment there. I've never had a crash that's been my fault. I used to have a guy in Real World Motorsport in the production car championship. Used to have on his front bumper bar, "If you're in front of me, you're cheating. If you're behind me, it's because I'm better."
Well, that's exactly right.
Think about it.
Yep. I'm going to have to just chew on that for a couple of minutes here. There's a lot going on in the booth. I'm getting Discord alerts popping up as well. But no, you're right. It's interesting how wording can sometimes make you think twice about what the hell's going on out there. John Merritt, Braden Sagassa, welcome in, boys. John, the old experienced hand of Formula V racing, and Braden Sagassa, only 0.02 of a second covering you blokes there at the end of race 3. Braden, nice to see you back in business though, and nice to see you snagging race 2 despite relentless pressure from Michael Adams. He really took you to task.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a very interesting race. Relatively clean from my point of view. I think other people would have different opinions on that one. But yeah, Michael really, gave it his all and almost got it, but it was a really good race with him.
It certainly was. And John Merritt, no stranger to photo finishes. There were a couple of them tonight, but to be able to finish third in the final race there and hold this bloke off, not a bad result for you either, and really good to see you going toe-to-toe with a couple of championship combatants throughout the course of the night, including Chapo as well.
Yeah, no, it was great little track for these things, and thanks to Braden, we were working hard to try and get to those front two. We just couldn't close that gap. We needed to battle a bit earlier.
You say great little track for these two, but you might remember back in the day we actually ran a Formula V round on the Indy configuration here. Do you reckon that would have been a little bit more spicy, or was the Grand Prix circuit the right choice?
Oh, spicy, yes, but I like the long layout, the Grand Prix layout personally. I think some of those short tracks are just, they're not enough for a lap. So, plus you get the bit more draft around the longer layout as well.
Braden, when is Lockie due for some luck in these things? He had good pace, he had solid sort of setup and form, but he just had no luck. Couple of spins, couple of incidents, and a night that he'd be willing to ride off, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. He had made a pace around here. He was showing me around it, and he obviously knew the track really well. But I think what started it was that race 2 incident on lap 1. I think they were 3 wide and someone on the inside didn't spot, and yeah, it caused a really bad crash that took out a lot of good competitors. And yeah, for race 3, he was battling really hard with someone. He was in the Discord talking about it, and yeah, it was just one of those nights, really.
Indeed. Any care to comment on the state of play in Formula 3 at the moment with 3 rounds to go? It looks as though your teammate may have one hand on the title, but you were still in a really thick battle, I would imagine, a really intense battle, mate, to wrap up second spot.
Yeah, I think fighting for the championship in Formula 3s is pretty much out of the picture. Aiden's had a major season. being very consistent. I think just trying to hold on to P2 will be my goal, and to get a 1-2 in the championship, and even to grab the team's championship would be amazing.
Grant, I'm sure you've got a question you'd love to throw at these boys. I'm going to hand the floor over to you for a moment just so I can catch my breath.
Sure.
I mean, it's great to have you here, but you're no stranger to having a chat to these Formula V boys when they've come in off the track from the field of battle. I'm sure you've got a question for either Braden or John.
I'll start off with John if I can. John, you were involved in so many battles tonight. What do you do to stay calm out there? How do you face such sort of pressure like that and maintain a composure that keeps the car going in the right direction at the speed?
Yeah, granted, it's not always, it's probably not always easy, but mate, I'd probably say just being old, mate, I don't get too stressed about things now, so.
I'm old, but I get stressed, so you're gonna have to give me more than that.
Look, I think you just learn with racecraft. Calm heads prevail. There's always the next corner, so if you place your car well, especially with these things, you haven't got the horsepower to get it done, and you can't make up 3/10 a corner. So if you place your car well, that's most of the battle, I think.
Thank you. And Braden, you mentioned that you've more or less resigned yourself to the fact that you're going to finish second. Does that take away any motivation, or are you still as pumped up as ever before? And will you keep pushing just in case something does go wrong with position one?
Yeah, I'll keep the pressure on, but being my teammate and all, I'm not going to try anything sneaky or anything, but I'll obviously keep the pressure on him. We'll have some good battles, and if he does somehow mess up for the last 3 rounds and I snag the championship, then that's the cherry on top. But having your teammate win the championship it feels very similar to yourself winning the championship.
Well, I was going to ask you that as a follow-up question. I was lucky enough to finish a championship 1 and 2 with a teammate, and the teammate won and I finished second. It was one of the best seasons I think I've ever raced in, because we crafted so many of the races and helped each other out, and the camaraderie that comes out of that. I don't think a lot of people sitting at home watching these races might understand exactly what's involved in that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what we've been doing all season, helping each other out when we can, but also, pushing each other to the limits. And I think Zach can vouch for us. We've had some major battles the last couple of weeks, but we've kept it clean. I think Suzuka was a one-off, but we'll keep that. We won't talk about that one.
Well, I was going to say yes. That was giving off some sort of Senna and Prost vibes. That one, unfortunately. But boys, by the way, we've got about 6 minutes before the Porsches are lining up on the grid. I know Matt Schmidt, you will transition us across in just a few moments' time. We are going to stay with you whilst Schmidt takes us over to Zandvoort and the open split server of the Porsche Cup and their opening heat of the night. Michael Adams has just slid into the booth as well. I can't wait to get his thoughts in just a moment. He did have the fastest lap next to his name there at one point. Unfortunately, that little spin that you saw on screen there a few moments ago put pay to his chances of a solid finish in that third race, but he pushed Braden all the way in the second one. Quickly, boys, Barber Motorsport Park, Birmingham, Alabama, next stop. Thoughts on that? Start with you, Braden.
It's a hit or miss for me. But Formula V's have already thrown up amazing racing all season. So it shouldn't be any different. I think there's a lot of long straights, plenty of room to go 2, 3, maybe in 4 wide. And it'll be a lot of fun, I can only imagine.
John?
Oh, I don't know if I own it, Zach, so I better get acquainted.
No.
But anyway, the V's are as good, isn't it? As Braden said,
Absolutely.
There's been some ripper races, so should be good.
One of those sort of instances where Merritt will say tonight that he doesn't own the circuit. He'll buy it with about 30 minutes to spare next week, and he'll come out and absolutely carve it up. So watch for John Hotlap Merritt next week. Looking forward to that, gentlemen. Good luck with everything else that you're doing throughout the course of this week. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before I quickly bounce across Michael Adams?
Sorry. Just the usual suspects. Obviously, my mum and my granddad for continuously watching me. the missus as well. She chimes in sometimes to see what's going on, and obviously the team, you got lucky, putting amazing effort, 100% every time, and yeah, just the 1-9 guys, and obviously you guys for putting on this amazing broadcast.
Hold up.
Yeah, just the Pulse Lexus guys, and yeah, I need to drag some more of them back. I need some inducement or something. So they're all too busy apparently. So no, always fun, and obviously the gents for putting it on, and yourself and Grant for the broadcast.
Very tight for time tonight because obviously the formation laps that we weren't expecting, they threw a spanner in the works and have taken about 7 minutes of post-race chatter out of the broadcast, boys. Obviously the task was difficult for you guys to reel in the leaders there, particularly in race 2, as John would attest to, because he was in the chasing pack, and also both of you would attest to in race 3 there, because once those gaps start to grow, yeah, good luck reeling them in. You know how tightly packed the field is there, but we'll talk more about that when we get to Barber next week, boys. Thank you very much. Good luck with what's ahead.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
We'll see Braden on Monday night. Cannot wait for that. Formula 3 to get us going for week 8, and also for June and winter and all those things as well. Summer if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Michael Adams, good evening to you. I believe you've earned your hard-earned thirst tonight. That was a solid effort from you.
Yeah, no, I'll be going straight to the fridge after this interview, I think.
Best helmet in the game. Best helmet in the game, Michael.
Thank you very much. It's not that subtle, but I don't get too many comments on it. But I hope it applies a bit of pressure when people see these eyes in their mirror.
I love it.
Talk to me, what was going through your mind there when you were on the cusp of victory in race 2? We were a little bit surprised. It was always going to be hard to defend Braden Sagas, and we thought you might have held it a little bit tight, make it a little bit harder for him. But at the end of the day, outside or inside, it was never going to matter once it became a drag race on the main straight there, mate.
What was going through my mind was, Grant asked the question about pressure before, and the worst thing, if I had to spend about 6 laps where I knew if I fought him, he'd probably win and a pack would catch up to us. So I spent 6 laps kind of feathering the throttle, waiting, and that's just a lot of time for the tension to build. And when the white flag went, I could just tell, my heart rate's going a bit too high. Deep breath. All right, let's go. I thought I had the one point of the track I was a bit stronger and where there was the best slipstream. And I'm so pissed at myself for letting him up the inside. It's not that I let him, he found his way in there.
Yeah.
Put a chisel into it. But yeah, I knew if he's a bit faster on pace, he was a bit stronger. So I just had to get in front and not give him time to get back. But last corner.
A second place finish in race 3 last week, a second place finish in race 2 this week. We have no doubt that at some point you will find your way one step further up the podium, mate. Quickly, because cars are about to line up for the Porsches. Thoughts on Barber Motorsport Park next week?
My cheeky 2 cents is that I know it has been recently updated. By recently, maybe a few months ago. So that might change a few things, or it might not. I also know there's a bunch of curbs somewhere you have to jump over, and for a V-sized car, they might turn into stadium super truck ramps. So we'll have to see how that goes.
We're looking forward to that immensely, mate. Well done tonight. I wish we had a bit more time to chat. As you can see, cars are lining up on the grid there, but well done. Keep doing what you're doing. We're loving it. We hope to see you out there in the thick of it again over the next 3 weeks.
Thank you very much, Zach, and I'm glad I could give Braden's mum and granddad a fun, exciting celebration.
Everybody tuning in. I love the fact that there are so many people tuning in tonight. Hello, Todd Saris. I think I recently accepted an invitation from you on LinkedIn. I saw you in the comments section there. Grant, well done. Thank you for that. Great to have you on board. Feel free to stick around for a few minutes here in the Porsches if you like, because this is our open split. These guys are going to rip and tear around Zandvoort. There's 27 of them lining up on the grid. But I think Barber's going to be absolutely compulsory viewing next Thursday night.
I do have to fly, so I can't stick around. But can I just say, well done to GSRC. What a professionally run gig. Disruptive Labs, Flash, Waste Options, everybody that's got behind this series. I think you're on a winner here. These guys do it so well. All the admins behind the scene, you do a great job. And I'm not just kissing butt because I want to come race in the series. They just are genuinely doing a good job. So well done, everybody. And thanks, Zach, for bringing me along. It's been great fun. Thank you.
No, absolutely our pleasure, mate. We love the fact that you were chomping at the bit to jump in here and have a chat with us, and we'll do it again before the season is out, whether you want to come back and work with us for Barber or Willow Springs. I know you're not available on the 18th, but one of the other two, let me know, and we'll make it happen.
Well, we'll see which round the stewards kick me out on, and I'll come and commentate then. Have a good one, everyone. Enjoy this. It should be a good race.
Thank you, Grant Boyden. Magnificent to have the great man in the house. You can watch him Monday morning, of course. We'll put that link up in our comments with the Formula V series that he's commentating. That's American Sunday night, Australian Monday morning. And, of course, you'll see him on Sky Racing hosting the trots, the gallops, and the dogs on Sunday as well. Race one of the night in the Porsches is underway. Apologies, we didn't have too much turnaround time there, ladies and gentlemen. We're at Circuit Park, Zandvoort, and Austin Edwards is going to lead the field to turn one. Have a look at Adam Lavis around the outside of Paul Wilson, but Wilson's going to make him sit in behind for the moment and keep him at bay. Can we all scramble through the first sequence of corners cleanly? Yep, so far so good. 26 starters here, Trav, as a party watching on from race control. Now they make their way out along the back of the circuit for the first time. And there's already been a jump start, black flag, pit lane penalty issued as well. That is to the car sitting down there in 24th spot in Nathan Brentnell as we make our way through for the first time. So to quickly backtrack here, of course, you know Circuit Park Zandvoort, a little over 4 kilometres this circuit. It's one of the tight, narrow ones, difficult for overtaking on this tour. That's why we bring invert racing here, because it is always one of those circuits where it actually improves the quality of the spectacle. When we go invert racing, it spices things up, livens things up. Gone! Car in the wall. And trying to pirouette around and get its way out of trouble. That is our good mate Dave Oliver. That's unfortunate. Miller Motorsport. Yeah, don't put the mic on it, please. Jeez. It's only early in the night. Out of the chicane at the end of the back straight we go, and here is a potential lead change. Is that Paul Wilson around the outside? You better believe it is. On Edwards. Edwards down on the inside. Here comes Lavis through the middle. This is a 16-lap opening heat here, ladies and gentlemen. 10 laps the journey, and then we get stuck into the elite split over 27 minutes, including, of course, a compulsory splash and dash as well. Paul Wilson wants to lead this from the front, and he'll go there around the outside. The long way around, if you don't mind. Oh, that's beautifully executed racecraft from Paul Wilson to take the lead away from Austin Edwards. Adam Lavis, Sean Medici, and Kurt Nommerson up into the top 5 as well. He's under pressure right now from Glenn Sarah, who is one of the new names to the club in recent times. Then Edward Rollo, Alan McDonald, Jordan Pianozola, Stephen Gallacher make up the top 10. Gallacher sitting in the invert spot at the moment. Tom Pritchard's been to pit lane, so too Nathan Brentnell. Oh boy, Matt Schmidtke, what a start.
Yep, certainly a bit of chaos, but not too bad. Everyone except Dave's kept it on the track, at least from what I've seen.
That was magnificent. That was magnificent. Championship points coming into this round, just to update everybody on the picture here. Adam Lavis, our fearless leader here, our broadcast coordinator, he leads 579 place. Sean Benetti, 541. Paul Wilson, 507. Jolan Hansen, 479. And David Baz, 477. Luke Wagner, Alan McDonald, Shane Beaumont, Tristan Koch, Kelly McLaren make up the top 10. 392 from McLaren, so it's 187 points at the moment between first and 10th, but drop rounds come into the mix tonight as well, like they do with all our categories in week 7 of competitions. We'll go back and update you on Formula V a little bit later on once Adam Lavis crunches the numbers. I'm working with 2 screens at the moment. I haven't got back to Ipswich yet, more on that a little bit later on. So I've been switching between tabs and had to find my way back to the live timing screen. Paul Wilson leads us across the stride. We picked up Luke Wagner in 11th. 1:35 at 1:58, the fastest lap of the race now for Wilson at the end of lap 2. 16 minutes here, and it will be a total of 10 laps for you, ladies and gentlemen, as we work our way through on lap 3. Stephen Gallacher to the hairpin we go. Watch a lot of them take the high line through here, because if you go that low line, you end up bogging down, bottoming out, and you lose all your momentum. You wash all your speed away. So out along the back of the circuit, Stephen Gallacher chases. Miller Motorsport, do drop rounds tend to help front runners or mid-pack championship contenders? Can be column A, can be column B. We've seen it work both ways over so many years, haven't we, Schmidtke? It's just one of those things in there, gentlemen, to alleviate the need for not being able to be in two places at once. Obviously, we all know that real-world commitments creep in and impact one's ability to race from time to time. And I guess the other quid pro quo with that, Schmitty, is old Kurt running P5, go boy, go. Yeah, great to see Kurt Nommensen finally having some luck. Although we've just done the Grant Gill, we've put the kiss of death on him because we put him on screen. I'm a bit worried now that we might have just put the mocker on him. Can work both ways, can't it, Schmidt? Because I guess there's a lot to be said for if you make the most of the rounds in which you are here before you have those drop rounds come into play, or conversely, you complete in all 10 rounds, contest all 10 rounds rather. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the language of English tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You have, chalk and cheese, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It can help both. If you end up in a situation where you've definitively got to drop 2 rounds, you're dropping 0, so that helps you exponentially. If you have a bad start of the season, you can recover. Conversely, we know that very rarely do any of our drivers have 10 rounds that go as smoothly as the other 9. So I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I reckon there's something to be said for it helps the guys anywhere in the top 15 in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, it can certainly help if you have not the best track record on every race. So if you have a couple, it gives you the chance to either have a couple incidents in a race and still compete, or if you can't commit to the full season, you can miss a couple rounds and still compete. So it just gives everyone more of a chance if you have a bit of an off round or can't turn up. So it makes the championship a bit more interesting.
Have a look at Greg Heaney in the comments. Throwing me under the bus now. Thank you. Appreciate it. Look at that. Hey, by the way, he will have been witness, as probably you were, Schmitty. I had a bit of a sense of humour for you yesterday, but if we get time to come back and cover off the events of the last 48 hours, we'll do that. Eduardo Zamora there in 18th position. It can work the other way, though, right? Because as we've said in the past, if you are a front runner in the championship before the drop rounds come into the equation, you can get brought back to the pack with drop rounds because you'll lose points, but the guys who drop 0 will lose nothing. We had that discussion at nauseum last term in the Supercar Championship, didn't we, with regards to Jace Douglas and the guys that were away on Pro Series duty. So, yeah. Oh, no, there goes one of the Whiskey Business entries. So, and Kurt Nommensen as well. Yep. So, we not only put the kiss of death on Sean Bonacci, but also Kurt Nommensen! Bang! And gone! And the track's blocked! Oh, no! Oh, good race awareness there from everybody to take evasive action. And unfortunately, yes, we have put the kiss of death on Kurt. Down into position number 23 he goes, and off goes Stephen Gallacher as well. So all of a sudden, 2 front-running contenders are well and truly out of it. Gallacher was on the cusp of an invert pole position. He now sits 22nd. Nommensen struggling to turn it around, such as the narrow real estate he's working with there. And he's dropped down to 24th. Say nothing. I didn't say anything. Paul Wilson, Austin Edwards, Adam Lavis, and Glenn Sarah make up the top 4 at the moment. And as soon as... Yeah, exactly. As soon as Kurt goes and watches that replay, I'm going to be hearing about it in my Discord channel, in my inbox there, no doubt about that. Sean Bonacci, it all just started with Sean Bonacci getting it crossed up. A Porsche doing what a Porsche does, and Kurt, unfortunately, on the exit, in the grass and in trouble, and Gallacher tried to take the evasive action, but just got it all crossed up and had nowhere to go but into the front of Kurt Nommensen. Really unfortunate for those guys. Bretnell's a lap down at the moment. Gallacher is at the back of the field. Pritchard, he got checked up.
Yeah, he bumped into that car in front is what got him.
Ooh. And you're arriving at that section of the circuit blind as well.
Yeah.
Bit of 10-pin bowling going on. I will agree with that statement from the Miller Motorsport stable. Stephen Gallacher, mechanical meat pull flag as well, just to add insult to injury, Schmitty.
Yeah, they did surprisingly well. It's really only that one Gallagher that got trekked up there. Everyone else managed to miss, so didn't end up too bad. I was expecting a big crash, but went surprisingly well.
Can I just say, by the way, before I forget, big thank you to Grant Boyden. As soon as we put two and two together and worked out who he was when he slid into the comment section first time round, we made sure that we kept in contact. We set it up so that we could get him into the booth and have his dulcet tones on our broadcast, and he was only too happy to jump in and have a chat with us, and we cannot wait to do so again somewhere down the line. Brooksy is not going to be happy with you. Well, that's a conversation that Brooksy can have with me after the broadcast. It was actually nice to catch up with him post-broadcast on Monday night before I properly went downhill with the flu. I got off the broadcast Monday night, Schmitty, and I just felt like a walking bloody zombie. So I knew full well that I wasn't going to be making the trip back to Ipswich. If you're just joining us, yes, I'm still in Cessnock tonight, folks. Was meant to be. Let's have a look at Austin Edwards, still all over the back of Paul Wilson like a cheap suit at the moment. I was intending to drive back to Ipswich on Tuesday, be it very early AM, straight after the broadcast, unpacking the car, etc., or very early the next morning after a few hours sleep, after the school rush, etc., and it just did not happen. So thankfully, Mum and Dad were only all too happy to let me loan the hall and give me free rent and food for the next couple of days, just to get me back to some sort of physical fitness in order to recommence the attempt at getting home, the second leg of the journey back up the highway tomorrow. So if you're on the M1 at any point tomorrow, I'll be in a rush, and I'll see you up on the other side of the border for the last weekend of May. Round onto the main straight, Paul Wilson there in first spot, Austin Edwards second, Adam Lavis third, Jordan Pianazzola in fourth spot. I do say thanks to Jordan again and Dan Yeaman for covering for me on Wednesday night last night, whilst I was supposed to be occupied elsewhere, but again, illness and also breakdown in communications put pay to that. So less said about that, the better, as Paul Wilson slots into first spot. And ever since he managed to get ahead of Austin Edwards, Austin's found it incredibly difficult to find a way back by.
Yeah,
Lap 8 of 10. Slowdown also was issued. Was that for Sean Benici? And he's already cleared it.
Yeah, this track, it's quite hard to pass on. You might be able to, if you get a good run in that back section into turn one, or you can go for the big send into Tarzan there. I believe that's the corner, the big dipping corner up here they're about to get to. You can try and send it down the inside there, but it's very hard to get past here. Oh, someone in the wall.
Oh dear, that's Barry Punter in the gravel. In a little bit of trouble.
Oh, and another one.
And
saved it.
Oh, jeez. That was a good save, actually. Good get, Luke Wagner, but now he's off the road a second time. Oh, no, there's somebody else off the road a second time. Or is that just my... Oh, no, there it is there. That's what's going on. I knew there was something else going on. I was getting off-track alerts lighting up everywhere. Sarah's involved. Nominson's off the track a second time. Oh, dear.
Ooh,
oh,
unfortunate.
Jeez. The Absolute Debacle Racing stable boys have managed to stay out of trouble on this occasion. Beaumont got through to 10th. Zamora to 11th. Punter to 12th. White to 13th. Kahir to 14th. Claridge and Peckham in behind. Then Dave Oliver's dropped down to 17th position. So Kahir was the first one to slide it through, but he got back going. All the rest of the garbage unfolded behind him. Siobhan McKernan, shout out to Kosh, having a solid race tonight and improving every season. Yes, agreed with that. Good pickup. Up 8 spots so far, Tristan. And meanwhile, this battle for the lead continues. And I lift up my headphone for the first time tonight, Schmidtke, and I hear it raining cats and dogs on Mum and Dad's Chin Pergola roof. And now I'm recontemplating my life choices about driving home tomorrow. I hate driving in the rain, because everybody's never in a hurry to get anywhere in the dry, let alone in the wet. And an 8-hour run becomes a 9-hour run and a very disgruntled ZWK. But less said about me, the better, and my potential road rage diagnosis. Anyway, 1 lap to go at the line. There is Paul Wilson leading the way. Austin Edwards, Adam Lavis we mentioned, obviously, with regards to Tristan Kosh, he's up 7 spots. Michael Blade's up 11. Shane Beaumont up 11. Jordan Pianazzola up 8. They're the big movers of the race so far. And the invert pole belongs to Shane Beaumont at the moment. So the Absolute Debacle Racing stable could be leading the field to green for the start of race 2. Paul Wilson defensive as the white flag flies at Zandvoort in the Netherlands.
I was expecting Austin to have a go at Paul, but it looks more like Adam will be having a go at Austin here. He's dropped back a little bit though. He's gained a little bit of a back there, but Paul's got a little bit of a buffer now. We'll have to wait and see how this ends up.
So Paul Wilson with half a lap to go. Reads us out along the back of the circuit. He's made a mistake coming out of the hairpin. Austin Edwards around the outside. Oh, the teammate of Jordan Pianazzola goes to the lead with half a lap to go at Zandvoort. The pole sitter is back at the head of the field. Wilson now on the defensive from Wavis. So the championship leader with a real chance here at having a look at second on the run round. The final few corners. And they're slipping and sliding all over the place. Edwards with the lead, with the whole shot, with the advantage. What a move that was to find his way to the front. It's dry at the moment at Zandvoort. It's 2:17 local server time. We're on the run home. 33-degree track temperature, so it is nice and warm for these tyres. Oh, neck and neck on the run to the line. Porsche's doing Formula V things instead of Porsche's doing Porsche things. I don't mind it. It's a nice change of pace. Austin Edwards out of the final corner. Snagged the lead back from Paul Wilson on the final lap and converts pole into victory. Austin Edwards victorious, race 1 at Circuit Park Zandvoort. Paul Wilson, Adam Lavis, Jordan Pianazzola in for 4th. Long gap then back to Alan McDonald and would Rollo under pressure from Sean Benici, who'll finish 7th. And then we go back to Tristan Kosh, Michael Blades, and Shane Beaumont's going to hold on for the invert pole position. Big gaps right through the pack in the end there. But at the end of the day, it's Austin Edwards' party in the Netherlands. And we're all just coming along for the sake of it. Well, I won't be disappointed if we get something similar out of our elite split competitors, Matt Schmidtke, because see, this is the thing, right? We often talk, if we were to bring a 40-minute race here or a 60-minute or a 90-minute race here, there's no way in hell we get something that life-affirming, that captivating, compelling, engaging from first until last, right? It just doesn't happen because this circuit doesn't necessarily lend itself to that elongated sort of entertainment. But when it's short, sharp, and snappy like that, that was brilliant.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think this track, if it was a long race, you would just sit in line and save fuel and try and get them in the stop. But because it's such a short race and no fuel stop, you have to make it work and get past on track.
If that was a long race, there's a strong chance I would have had Dad's swag parked up and set up next to me in the commentary box. I would have fallen asleep. But when it's only 16 minutes or 27, we're here for it. Magnificent. Fourth best race of the night so far, because nothing's topping Formula V. That was just top shelf from them at Brands Hatch in the United Kingdom. Let's see what the elite split brings to the table, ladies and gentlemen. We'll come back and cover off the results from the open split a little bit later on from their second race. Well done in the end there to Austin Edwards. Victory, he's in race 1 of this 7th round of GSRC Porsche Cup action for Term 2 of 2026 across Facebook and YouTube. We're live, we're exclusive, we're free. It's Thursday night Motorsport night for Week 7, Term 2, 2026, an historic 25th season for the club. And as we go to a break, we remind you that the Elite Split is coming up on the other side of this. New South Wales on the cusp of an Origin clean sweep in Women's State of Origin. They lead 12-4 with 15 to play. Meanwhile, the AFL completely and utterly being dominated by Hawthorn at the moment, 9-7-61 over St Kilda 2-5-17 at Marvel in Melbourne. So we'll take this opportunity to grab our first break of the night. We're back with more on the other side of this. Back at Circuit Park Zandvoort for you on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. The fifth of 5 races on the bill for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Disruptive Labs Thursday night motorsport across Facebook and YouTube. And it's great to have you along for the ride. This is the dessert to what was Formula V main course action earlier in the evening from Brands Hatch in the United Kingdom. And there are just 3 rounds to go in the Porsche Cup campaign. As soon as we're done here, of course, we pack up shop. We head to Adelaide, then on to the St. Petersburg Grand Prix circuit in Florida, then back to Australia to Sandown in Victoria, to the other home of horsepower, of course, the other sort of horsepower for the grand finale super sprint there as well. So the best of both worlds in a few weeks' time here. The Gallops on the infield and us on the outfield. It's going to be fantastic. Have a look at the clock there for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to have a look at the championship standings in the Porsche Cup Elite Split here as it all stands. Sam Chapman, 620 plays, Willie Blair, 572, and Craig Bond, 545. John Akers 526, Paul Wood 478, and Luke Alavoine 471. Jason Wilkinson 461, Cooper Friend 369. And then we go back to Jaden Draper on 363 and Joel Jensen's on 333. Luke Brooker, I should say, was also on 369 there, tied with Cooper Friend. My apologies. I did caught out by my own sentence structure there, and I missed him as I was scrolling the totem pole up on my biggest screen here in central commentary, because the font, just with what I'm working with at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, just everything was a little bit too small on the screen that you were seeing at home. So apologies for that. Circuit is 4.21 kilometres. Grid at 6 o'clock in the evening local server time looks like this. It's a grid of just 16. Kai Ardley out, so we're down to 15. Cooper Friend, Paul Wood front row, Luke Brooker, Craig Bond second row, Willie Blair, John Akers third row, Dane Snadden, Jaden Draper fourth row, Greg Stewart, Sam Chapman from 5. Chapo winning the first race, of course. Jansen's, Douglas, Wilkinson, Dakin and Alavoine will make up the field. Douglas joining the grid now. Wilkinson yet to. Let's wait and see. Will they all be boxed and ready to rock and roll here? Yes, they will. Let's get ready to go. No Jace Douglas at the moment. He hasn't joined the grid. We're without Douglas. We're down to 14. Let's go to work at Zandvoort. Final one of the night. Cooper Friend bogged it down. Woodsy got the jump on the inside and through the middle. On the outside, rather, was Luke Brooker. He couldn't get through on the inside. So Cooper Friend has been able to slot back in behind Paul Wood and keep Bondi at bay, who got by Brooker on the run to turn 1. Whoa, gone! Goodbye, Cooper Friend. Drops down the order into 7th. 8th spot now, coming out of turn number 4. And then off the road more and into the wall. That's a big one. That's an enormous shunt for Cooper Friend. And that one's going nowhere but the back of the garage. Jason Wilkinson joins from pit lane. Either that or he is very late joining the grid, but Cooper Friend goes onto the tow rope. My apologies, it was of course Jason Douglas that joined late in the piece, and it was Jason Wilkinson who was late onto the grid. Oh, a lot going on there. Paul Wood, what a start. Bondi up in a second, and Luke Brooker back into 3rd. So Wood up 1 spot, Bond up 2, Dakin now off the road as well.
I think Jason had to jam on the anchors there to not crash into Cooper as he was skidding back across the track. That's what dropped him back so far.
We'll have a look at it again in a moment because, oh gee, that was a hell of a ride. Slid it through into turn 4 and then was all out of shape just coming back onto the main straight. Oh, Bondi wants to lead it. Down on the inside of Paul Wood. Go, young man, go. Down on the inside of the chief steward of the club, and it better be a clean move, and it is. Oh, nicely done, Bondi. Feeds Ripple Strip in the direction of Paul Wood, just drifts him out wide. Gives him no choice but to take the wide line through turn 1, and the boy from Gundagai leads in the Netherlands. Have a look at that. Is there a fast repair in this series? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't have that information on me, Schmitty, because I know in our GT3 Pro, if it's a sprint round, there's no fast repair waiting for them on pit road. So if we go by the same narrative, in the elite split here, you'd suggest there's probably not a fast repair waiting for them on pit lane.
Unfortunately for Cooper, no, in this sprint race there is not. I checked the racing race page, and yes, no fast repair for anyone tonight, but in this series, the elite split at least.
Jordan Dakin also on the back foot with regards to that as well. Greg Stewart, Luke Brooker, Jaden Draper, Willie Blair and Dane Snadden, the top 7 at the moment. Through we go. The best thing, right, there were so many positives, so much great feedback coming through with regards to us having Grant Boyden here tonight. The best thing about it is it saved the old vocal cords, because I've been a little bit under the weather this week, Schmitty. Now, the Porsches at Zandvoort, they're going to do a number on the vocal cords in their own right. So I'll be reaching for the lozenges as soon as this broadcast is done. Don't worry about that. Down the main straight, Bondi leads. Have a look at this on the inside. Oh, Willie Blair in 6th spot. Having a look at Jaden Draper, who was having a look at Luke Brooker. Greg Stewart's wedged his way through, weaved his way through the field beautifully. Chapo's back in 7th, playing the long game here. He'll play strategically in 7th. But Greg Stewart's wasted no time in getting up 6 spots so far. Oh, trouble, trouble, trouble. Oh, you can't go 3 wide at Zandvoort, surely. Chapo has somehow made that work. And then the Northwind entry bang into the wall and gone. Oh, no, that's a massive crash. Jaden Draper. Holy moly. There are no small incidents in the Netherlands. At least we're not in Amsterdam, though. Because everything compounds when you go to Amsterdam. Oh, wow. The Northwind stable having a night to forget here. Have a look at that. That was Cooper Friend. So the rear wing just went. And then all of a sudden, did he get some extra help here?
He's just in the grass there.
The grass.
Oh,
there's the bump.
There it is.
There's the hip and shoulder. Now, I'm just trying to work out who gave him the hip, and he got finished off by his own teammate, so it's not going to be a pleasant debrief for the Northwind stable. They've got 5 horses in the race, and you know what? 3 of them are on the tow rope already.
I think it might have been
The other 2 are right at the back of the field. Oh, Jono Akers? Yep,
I
copy.
think it
Thank
might
you.
have been, yeah.
Oh, Greg Stewart on the inside of Paul Wood goes to second and now goes out in pursuit of Bondi, who has a little bit of a statement to make here, let's be perfectly honest, because he's formed an allegiance, an alliance through the WK&P SimSport stable. And we only just saw that information come through on his socials yesterday. Draper and Friend both with a mechanical meatball next to their name. Dakin as well on pit lane. Douglas didn't even take the start. Plenty of mechanical meatballs being handed out tonight. We saw that at Brands Hatch. Oh no, that was Dakin. Bang.
Yeah, I just want to try and
that's savage,
find...
isn't it?
Yeah, just bumped the wall there. Try and find that other
if that's
incident.
if that's what's triggered the mechanical meatball for him, that's the softest of touches on Armco you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
Unreal. Rightio, Bondi under pressure soon, potentially from Stewart. The margin is 1.7. There was a touch on Joel Jansen's. And I'll work out who from in a moment. But we do want to have another look at the... was it the Jaden Draper or the Jordan Dakin incident? One of the two.
Yeah, that big
doing
one.
Doey's all right.
I'm trying to find it.
Paul Wood first to pit lane on real racing terms, on his own accord, not forced there by way of retirement or tow rope or mechanical meatball. Paul Wood, the first to complete a routine scheduled pit stop, and there are compulsory splash and dashes in this race, ladies and gentlemen. 5.13 seconds for Woodsy. Let's have a look at this replay. So Jaden Draper and Luke Brooker, this is where it all started. Coming out of there, so it was never looking good from the moment he was in the weeds, and then they were 3 wide, and how Chapo got through here unscathed, I'll never know. But there was the contact and into the grass, and from that point he was a passenger. He had no way of pulling it up. 1, 2, 3, you're a pinata, goodbye. And that was Jaden Draper all over and done with. Bondi under pressure from Greg Stewart. A new arrival in recent weeks, but by no means a slouch. Like, he is a seriously good operator. Pushed Chapo all the way in race 1. You saw those results on the screen. And now we'll give the boy from Gundagai a little bit of a hurry up here in race 2. Good airtime for Bondi. He'll be happy with this for his socials, of course. But he's about to get gobbled up here from Greg Stewart. Down the main straight we go. 0.8 the margin. Across the line, the end of lap 6 of 16. The end of lap 5 of 16. The only thing that bodes well here for Bondi is just how difficult it is to overtake around this circuit. Greg Stewart slatched on and is within half a second of the boy from Gundagai right now. The difference, I think, Schmitty, and we say this all the time when we talk about invert racing, and it's particularly prominent here at Zandvoort because I love the use of the term goat track from Grant earlier in the night. This is one of those. It's narrow. It's difficult for overtaking. The difference will be racecraft and strategic play, and that will come down to how they transit pit lane.
Yeah, it certainly will. And even these short races, you can eke a little bit out on the fuel if you want. But I can't imagine these boys at the front are doing that. They're just trying to get out as far ahead as they can. He's right on him now.
So Greg Stewart has caught Craig Bond to the inside. Bondy leaves him some room and invites him to take the line and make the move now, but then he moves across and covers very nicely and shuts the door. Now Stewart will dive to the inside. No, he thinks better of it and tucks back in. He can afford to bide his time. He can play the patient game here because he knows this isn't going to be won and lost here. It's not going to be won and lost on lap 6 of 16. He's got to be in for the long haul here and find a way by Bondy. Just wait for a little bit of a slip up. Try and lure him into a mistake. Round they go, main straight. Bond, Stewart, Blair. Chapman's up into 4th spot. Margin between Bond and Blair is 2.2. Chapo's only a stone's throw away from that. So Chapo right in the hunt here to try and do the double. And it probably works in Chapo's favour if Stewart struggles to find a way by Bondy here. Because Stewart was the man that was second to Chapman in the opening heat tonight. So when we're talking big picture with regards to overall championship points and round honours, Chapo needs to be within striking distance of that bloke. The number 692, once this race is done. Chapman, 101, up 6 spots already. 4th spot, Akers and Janssens, 9th and 11th, in and out of pit lane. So we went from having all those mechanical meatball flags, the trio, the hat-trick of Northwind entries being wiped out of it. Cooper Friend, Jordan Dakin, Jaden Draper, they're done. Just 11 left in the race, folks. Joel Janssens has completed his stop, so too Jason Wilkinson, John Akers and Paul Wood. We're down to just 7 on the racetrack right now, and it is raining cats and dogs outside my real estate here in Bellbird at the moment in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. It is thumping down, so it's probably a good thing I'm not driving home until tomorrow at this rate. Jason Douglas reporting that he had internet problems. I was going to talk to Grant about that, the old mechanical problems of the real world or the tech issues of the sim world. And there's another one of them rearing their ugly head once more. Chapo in 4th, chasing Willie Blair to the main straight once more. 2.3 the margin between Bond and Stewart. Here comes Chapo, looking for a move down the inside. He'll go for it. He'll go for it. He'll lunge down the inside and goes into position number 3. Nicely done from Chapman. Margin 2.4 to the race leader Bond, who has Stewart breathing down his neck right now. How good. Such magnificent racing here. Great to have so many of you tuning in on a Thursday night that is chock-a-block full of sport, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the Aussies in action at Roland Garros, day 5 of the French Open. You can continue to watch that on 9 Gem and also Stan Sport. The AFL on 7, mate, and of course on 9 it is the Women's State of Origin decider. And that is, of course, from the, well, not decider, it's dead rubber, more to the point. That's from the Gold Coast. And the New South Wales women in complete control of that one. And they've wrapped it up 12 points to 4. It's a clean sweep for New South Wales in the Women's Origin Series, and Bondy's time is up at the front of the field. There goes Stewart to the inside. Greg leads in the Netherlands. Oh, nicely done. So 4 retirements already, 1 by force majeure, and the others by the attrition and carnage we've seen on the circuit in the early stages. You don't have a small incident at this circuit. There's not much runoff area, and unfortunately, Schmitty, it's very hard to pull them up on grass, as we found out tonight.
Yep, grass is a lot slipperier than the tarmac, especially if it's got some gravel on it as well, which a lot of this track does.
Craig Bond chases Stewart through. You don't want to let the situation get the better of you here, young man. You don't want to overdrive it now, trying to redeem the ground you've lost. Being second to this bloke, or even the bloke that's directly behind you now, Sam Chapman, is nothing to turn your nose up at. Especially when we know that Bondy is working towards a top 5 finishing position in this championship. He's 3rd at the moment. I'll be interested to see what happens when we take drop rounds into the equation, remembering that Paul Woods joined the fold from the Open split mid-season. So Woodsy's going to be firmly in the mix once we take that out of the equation. Chapman, Blair and Bond are your top three. Luke Alavoine hasn't necessarily fired since the opening round. He's down there in 8th spot at the moment. We've picked up Dane Snadden in 5th. Pit lane activity about to ignite once more. There are just 5 drivers left in this race yet to stop. We're at the end of lap 9, 7 laps to go. I don't think we've ever gone through the pit lane sequence so quickly, Schmitty.
Yeah, a lot of people going early, it seems. I would have thought hanging out as long as possible would have been the go, but I guess everyone wanted to get out the traffic. But if everyone gets out the traffic, no one gets out the traffic.
Our dear commentary colleague, the old drafting off the bench, the substitute for last night, Jordan Pianazzola's jumped into the booth for a chat, which I don't necessarily think's a good sign as to how your second race played out, Jordan. Good evening to you. What happened, please?
Good evening. I mean, you're welcome for me hopping on last night and filling in. That was good fun. Tell you that much. It's the only thing going to put my smile back on my face right now because I was leading. I fought for that lead from Sean Benici, and my steering wheel for the first time ever decided to hardware failure on me during the final banking, and it just got stuck right, and I got plummeted into the wall, and now I've got 13 minutes of repairs, and it was just bad because I'd asked my father downstairs via Siri on my phone to quickly run up and turn my fan on because I'm absolutely boiling in here. As soon as he opened it and turned it on, my steering wheel turned off. So it was like very coincidental timing, but I know that'll have nothing to do with it. But it was, devastating. I think that win was mine. I was going to pit in the next like 2 laps, and yeah, that's just gone.
Yes, I can imagine you're having a not dissimilar sense of humour failure to the one that I had yesterday afternoon, which you might have been privy to in the Discord chat thread, I'm not sure. But there's Willie Blair in 3rd right now. Dane Snadden and Greg Stewart have come to the line. They've completed their stops. I'll be interested to see how that stacks up. 7.47 seconds for Stewart compared to Bond, Chapman and Blair. We know they like to run it a little bit deeper into the race and therefore stop a little bit shorter on the return, on the run through. I think Stewart's still the effective leader. Very much depends on how this pit lane sequence plays out. Bondi's got a second on Chapman at the moment. Yes, how'd you enjoy your baptism by fire last night, Paul?
It was good fun. I mean, it was nerve-wracking, I'll admit that, because hopping in someone else's booth and going under someone else's broadcast and knowing how they run the show is always a little bit nerve-wracking. But I'd say when the supercars came around, I was feeling a little bit more comfortable on how to just put my own style on things. But look, it was great fun. The 86s were crazy to watch, and watching Snelly get his first win in the 86s after 7 rounds of pushing for it was finally something great to see from Ben there. And the 86s, the supercars, that was just monsoon. I'm sure you saw that, and if you haven't, anyone who's watching, go back and watch it, because I think turn 1 ate everybody at least 4 times.
I was going to say, I was not in a position to give you constructive criticism at any point last night, mate. I was nowhere near the broadcast. I had the feed up trying to recover from a viral sort of downhill spiral the last couple of days. I've been as crook as Rookwood. So, trouble at the back. That was Luke Brooker, I think. Yep, in 8th spot. He's come undone, coming through the chicane at the end of the back straight there, where you go right and then that long hook back hairpin left. He's come unstuck through there. He has now lost out to Luke Alavoine as a result of that, and all on his own. Alavoine did well to take evasive action. Field very well spread out at this particular point. Bond, Chapman, Blair, the only 3 yet to stop. We are on lap 12, so those pit stops are imminent. I was also watching, I can't believe the beat up today, right, with what's going on in New South Wales and Queensland. Everyone in New South Wales is up and about because, it's the greatest Origin comeback ever. Yeah, of course it's going to be easier to make your way back from a 20-point deficit when it's 14 against 12. Give yourself an uppercut, please. In saying that, I reckon Queensland lost the series last night because they haven't won a game in Melbourne since the 90s at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. They've won games over at Marvel, but this game's at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. So I am quite content to sit and watch anything else that night, June 17, including the grand finale here on the platforms of GSRC of the 86s and the supercars. Here comes Bondi. Yep. Chapo ducks and weaves and goes the other way. And in comes Willie Blair as well. Bond and Blair to the line. Chapo goes a lap later into the piece. We're not surprised by that. But yes, 14 against 12 last night. What a G up that was. And I love how, and full respect, normally I think Paul Gallen's a bit of a buffhead, but full respect to him and the 8th Immortal Andrew Johns today. They've both come out and said there's no way Queensland lose that game if they're playing 13 on 13. So well done to them for at least having enough knowledge of the game to say that. 132.838 for Greg Stewart, the fastest lap of the race. And Bondi's come out ahead of him to the tune of a second. So Stewart has all that work to do once more. Wowee. This game has changed dramatically in the closing stages here in the final quarter of proceedings. George, stay with me because I want to pick your brain about Formula V in just a few moments' time as well. And also, of course, how race 1 was for you, because we did see you out there in the thick of it. Zandvoort, we did broadcast the open split race as well, but I reckon you might be the good luck charm for Benny Snell. Whenever I'm here commentating the 86s, he never bloody wins. He's always been a perennial bridesmaid, so he might be lobbying for you to do more commentary if he's racing, if that's the case.
I mean, it's probably just both of us being from Adelaide, you know, just two of us finding each other and put our arms around each other and go forth, you know. But I've raced against with Ben and in a couple of other leagues and GT3s and stuff. So I've known him for, I don't know, maybe only a year odd. But I guess I did have a little bit of like a Murray Walker, Damon Hill sort of feeling for Ben when he won that one.
Oh, did you have to stop because you had the lump in the throat or not?
Oh no, not quite. But I will admit, I have had to do that in real life with karting with one of my old mates from high school.
Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. I'm going to come back to you in a moment, yeah. Jordan. I want to hear the end of that story. Have a look at Chapman and Stewart. Oh, Stewart around the outside. Gets by Chapman and holds on a second. Chapo is third in a 3-horse race at the moment. And somehow, through that entire pit sequence, Bondi's done a Chapman on Chapman again. And Stewart, I thought, as soon as Matt Schmidt, you'll agree, I balked a little bit when I saw 7.47 for Greg Stewart's pit lane time. That always seemed as though it was a smidgen too long on the box, and it's proven yet again to be the case. And Bondi leads with 2.5 laps to go. Can he hold on from here?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
It does look like a spicy end for the final with Stewart and Chapman here. Hopefully they can get to Bondi, but if not, there's definitely going to be a race on for second place here. They're not going to want to give up any positions or any openings to the driver behind.
I wouldn't mind betting the boy from Gundaguy's got his speech written out, ready to deliver. If he can hold on here and snag this win. He's already taken a race win already this season. That was at Donington Park. That was in the sprint part of the previous round, the first race of two, the previous sprint round of the series. Last week, we know how he feels about Spa. He wasn't happy about all of that. But now, on the cusp of glory here, but he's got to fend off the would-be attack of two stalwarts of the Caper right here and right now. Greg Stewart, who's been brilliant ever since he arrived on these platforms a couple of weeks ago, has brought plenty of pace to the table. And, of course, the championship leader in Sam Chapman as well. They've gapped Willie Blair. The margin back to him is 2.2 seconds. Dane Snadden, Paul Woods under pressure from Luke Alavoy. No other battles on circuit, but a three-way fight for the W, if you don't mind. And a lap and a half to go. It's these sorts of moments where you're not sure as a racer whether you want to be out there in the thick of it or in here with the best seat in the house watching on from where we are, ladies and gentlemen. I can guarantee you from a commentator standpoint, these are the nights you love being in the booth behind the microphone. Although I am disappointed that I didn't see Snelly's first win on this. I'll come back to that next week. 3 more bites at the cherry to give him a W call this season. Down the back straight, second to last time. Stewart with the dive, the lunge down the inside. Bondi chops him off and says, try again, young man. Have a look at that. Brilliant defence from Bondi, and that defence is about to wind up again here on the final lap. Luke Brooker put it off the road a few moments ago. Stewart to the inside of the final quarter. Have a look at this. Oh, this is magnificent stuff. And Chubbo's in here as well. Wow. They almost ended up in the Armco. Down the main straight we go. Stewart to the lead on the outside. Chubbo wants to go with him. Bondi's hung out to dry. Stewart to the front. Chapo's going with him. Unlucky for Bondi. Oh, wow. Stewart will look to get one back on Chapo this time through, having lost out in Heat 1. So there'll be one win apiece, and it'll come back to bonuses and fastest laps and incident points and qualifying and all that to determine the round honours. And Bondi's just going to have to settle for third. It was a good defence while it lasted.
He tried.
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Have a look. They almost ended up in the wall. Unbelievable. Half a lap to go. Stewart on his way home. Now, for mine, I think I'm right in saying, I want to be absolutely certain, but I think this will be a first for Greg, if he can hold on here. As in a first win on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club in this series, in the Porsche Elite Cup. He's just got to get it through the final two corners firstly. Then he can worry about celebrating. Chapo will retain the championship lead, but it's going to be Greg Stewart taking to the top step of the podium and claiming the line right on us here in round 7 of GSRC Porsche Cup competition in the Elite Split at Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands. What a thriller that was. A little bit anticlimactic in that last half a lap, but the 2 laps prior to that set it up beautifully, and Stewart gets the better of Chapman and Bond. Blair, Snadden, Wood, Alavoine, then Brooker, back to Akers in 9th spot under pressure from Jansen's, no, not really, and Wilkinson will be 11th, and everybody else retires on a night full of attrition in the Netherlands. And it is one of those circuits. It's either going to give you an absolute magnificent spectacle or it's going to give you an absolute stinker, and you either sink or float. There is no in between, and unfortunately the attrition rate tonight is a fair reflection of that, including, unfortunately, for our good mate Jordan, who's been so good to join us here in commentary, although far be it too prematurely. We would have much preferred to have a chat with you post-race, but it's been nice to have you here for the back half.
I think I would have preferred that too, because I would have been happy, not disappointed.
Oh dear, don't be, mate. You've been able to be witness to, or bear witness to, one of the great finishes of the season in this series. And Schmitty, I know you weren't here for it, Andrew Neal was. That's almost on par with what Chapo and Bondi did on the final lap in Mexico City.
Yeah, well, it was a good battle.
I think the Northwind boys will be begging and pleading with series organisers to get themselves a fast repair in future sprint rounds. Have a look at that. 3 of them wiped out.
Yeah.
Although, can we just address Cooper Friend there, please? Motorsports with the double T.
Yep, I'll have to
He's
get
got a
Adam
twin
onto that
turbo.
one.
That's what it stands for, twin turbo.
You mentioned monsoon last night, Jordan. On par or worse than what we saw in the Porsches at the Nordschleife only at the end of the last term there?
I would love to be able to tell you, but I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't race in that one, so I can't tell. But I know. So Austin, who's just here joined us in the booth, he's one of my mates from one of our teams, and we did a race a while ago in GT3s at Monza. So anytime we have a wet race, we compare it to that, and this was, yeah, by far perfectly on par with that. It was the worst wet weather you would ever see. I think all of the drivers were right saying it should have been red flagged, but that's it. That's real life. We can crash and continue going.
Sean Benici just asking you in the Porsche Cup discussion, actually, by the way, what the hell happened? So you can go and answer that for Sean. The Alaskan, who had his own issues in Heat 1 as well. A couple of big incidents right throughout the course of the evening. However, in saying that, given that you've had your first roll in the hay here in the commentary box, mate, your first bite of the cherry, are we going to see more of you in that regard? Are you keen to come back and do more of it?
Oh, for sure. Why would I not be?
Good. we haven't scared him off, ladies and gentlemen. That's
No,
excellent.
no way. I'm only here to scare people off. No, I'm joking.
No, that's actually my job, and I do it with volume more than anything else. Brilliant racing here. We've got Austin Edwards standing by. We've got Craig Bond standing by. We've got Sam Chapman standing by. I've got to pick his brain on the 2 wins in 3 starts in Formula V a little bit later on. 1 win from 2 here tonight, so he's taken 60% of what was on offer, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, as Chapo. Bond, he's so new yet so far, I thought. If he's there.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, there he is. So near yet so far, mate. You were leading at the start of the final lap, but it was always going to be hard to not crack with that sort of pressure mounting behind you.
Yeah, well, I had to kind of move to cover off Greg and then pick myself up a slowdown, and then I did the exact same thing on the final lap. So, driver error. Tried to serve it as good as I could and while keeping the lead, but just couldn't hold on to it. But yeah, still great experience, and now I'm just going to have to work for myself not to make those same mistakes again.
Jordan, your teammates here, I take it, even though you had your own misfortune there in the second race, you take great positivity out of the fact that he put on a show-stopping performance there in Heat 1.
Most definitely. We joked about it after the race that he pretty much led turn 1 of lap 1 in the last corner of the last lap. But when you go on racing, that's all you need.
Exactly right, because that's where the points are applied. Austin, well done, mate. When you're holding off 2 experienced hands in Porsche Open split racing, most notably, of course, Paul Wilson, who's a former champion in the Caper, you earn your stripes, mate. That was a very solid drive in Heat 1. How did Heat 2 fare, though? Because we were watching the Elite Split while you two were having at it over there in your own feature race, so you might need to educate us a little bit on that. But from what we saw, that was top shelf racing in Heat 1.
Yeah, Zach, it's great to be back. Heat 1 was really fun. It just kind of cycled through, and I think I just applied my same strategy as last week, where I'm just going to sit tight and wait for the mistake. And sure enough, on the last lap, the mistake happened, and that's why I went. And then in the second race, I was trying to apply the same kind of thing, but I knew that if I just hung around too long, the leaders would get away and I wouldn't get that opportunity, so I needed to stay a little bit racy. And then I think they were 3 wide ahead of me in turn 3, which is obviously never a pretty sight, but I knew I was going to have the run, so I just swooped on by, and then the car ahead of me just kind of slammed the door shut when I was side by side, and it just kind of untangled, and then with the whole field piling through behind as well, it created all kinds of mess, and I thought my race was going to be done there and then, but the P-Cups are way stronger than I thought, and there was a little bit of bent steering, but I just kept on driving, and it ended up, by the time all the pit stops cycled through, it ended up in a pretty good spot, so yeah.
Chapo, you've been around the Caper here long enough to know, so hopefully at least back me up anyway, but if they're 40-minute or 60-minute races like what we see in GT3, they're nowhere near as lively and as intriguing and as engaging as that 2 real top shelf races tonight, which is why sprint racing and Zandvoort end up being a good combination, especially in the invert race, mate, because it makes you guys think on your toes, apply racecraft strategy, and also get the elbows out and maybe execute overtaking opportunities that aren't normally there, considering how tight and technical this circuit is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Zandvoort's a great track. I do actually think it's easier to overtake than what some people give it credit for, because you've got corners like this that really do switch it up. This was a pretty one. I really like this.
How you got out of this scot-free is beyond me. I'll never know.
Yeah, I wasn't faffing about. Unlucky for that dude, but playing my side. So, but yeah, like corners like that, they create a lot of intrigue because you can have great pace deltas in and out of them. You can overtake towards the end of the straight. Yeah, I think it's a great track, and then obviously sprint racing, it does make it a hell of a lot more lively. I mean, we've seen that in the Porsche Pro Series as well, with the amount of work that race control has to do at the end of every race. yeah, it certainly keeps it interesting. Whereas, yeah, the longer ones can be a little bit the strategic snooze fest at times.
Indeed, they can be. We'll get back to your race in just a few moments' time. The interesting thing in all of this is, you're right, there are some elements to Zandvoort that do lend themselves to good racing. You just got to know where they are. And then when you commit to an overtaking opportunity, you've really got to commit to it, because if you don't, it takes a while to undo the damage and reset and go again. If someone from the Northwind stable would like to slide into the chat and just let us know how relieved they are that that's all over and they can pack up and put Zandvoort behind them, that'd be great, only because they had 5 horses in the race there, and 3 of them, no fast repair in sprint round racing, unfortunately. 3 of them out of business in the first 4 laps, which brings me to the point. What's it like in the open split, boys? Do you have a fast repair there or not?
Well, we did, but I know I couldn't use it.
That's true. Moving right along. Kurt, I apologise when you go and watch the replay. I said as soon as we put you on camera, oh, geez, Kurt's having a good run. We'll just put the kiss of death on him. No, because we put him on camera, and look what happened. Only a couple of laps later, you were gone. So apologies for that. Don't blame me. I didn't put you on camera. Schmitty did. Now, Austin, let's go back to you. Race 2, give me a little bit more intel with regards to that, because it is difficult to work your way through. You guys have got to think on your toes. What were the overall results? Do you have any of those in front of you for me to pass on to everybody at home? Or does Schmitty have them to put up on screen, one of the two?
Give me a sec and I can pull them up.
Thank you, Schmitty. Austin, your thoughts on race 2 as a whole? Because obviously race 1 was brilliant. You took one opportunity with one slip up from Paul Wilson to full advantage. And yeah. Oh, thanks, Kurt. Throw me under the bus as well. Good on you. Yeah, you can get stuff. We'll see you next week. Austin, give me some intel with regards to race 2, because you, to your credit, your field there was far bigger than what we had here in the elite split. That's been par for the course for the last couple of weeks. The bigger the grid, the more the congestion, especially around here. It's a short circuit, it's a tight circuit. You've managed to come through and grab 3rd spot. No stopping Sean Benici and Adam Lavis in that one. So Adam, again, a double podium for him. The championship leader continues to do what he needs to do to tick the boxes. Barry Punter, Tristan Kosh, Eduardo Zamora, Lee Peckham, Stephen Gallacher, and then Glenn Sarah and Edward Roller. Just how hard is it when that invert's thrust upon you? We're used to this sprint invert racing now, but just how hard is it to execute those overtaking opportunities and avoid trouble at the same time, mate?
Yeah, no, I actually find it really tricky. My specialty is not on my racecraft, it's to put it on pole and hopefully just stay there for the rest of the race, kind of like race 1. So kind of getting thrown back a little bit deeper into the pack and trying to judge who's going when, who's going what, and who's going to create gaps for me to fill. It's definitely not something I'm that good at, and so my normal strategy, just playing the long game and trying to force the errors, it doesn't quite work the same because it's a sprint race. You kind of got to get a hurry on. So yeah, there's definitely lots of work I need to do on my behalf to get myself better there. But it's okay. I feel like there's things to take away from tonight. So yeah.
Oh no. I dare say Adam Lavis is going to be having a chat with you at the end of the broadcast. Schmitty, that's him paying attention to detail with what results graphics we're showing on screen at the moment. The horrendous non-Darko UI. Oh dear, oh dear. Very nicely. Hey, well done to you, sir. 2 top 3 finishes tonight. Very nicely done. And nice to see actually having a solid sort of run and trouble-free sort of run in the V's as well, not before time. Austin was talking about racecraft and strengths and weaknesses. Bondi, I feel as though you've got the starts down packed, mate. You really have seemed to master them and make them your own. You didn't muck around and getting forward early there in that second race. So talk to me about that. But then also, where did it go wrong in race 1? Because you were able to get a podium in race 2, but I read on the screen there that it was only plus a couple of spots, which means that the invert would reflect on not necessarily the strongest showing in race 1.
Yeah, well, I had great pace in race 1 where I would have been podium or edge of podium, but I messed up going right-handed to go down the hill on lap 1, and the car just went light and I just went straight on into the gravel and pretty much threw my race away. Then I got into 2 incidents and yeah, one of them I think there's a penalty coming to me, but the other I redressed, so I really needed a good result in race 1, 2, which I couldn't quite get the result, which would have helped. So still a bit of work to do with the championship.
Hey, Bondi, at least it wasn't Armco, right? At least it wasn't Armco. You were able to at least see the checkered flag. There are a few other guys that would envy just seeing the gravel in that situation, because this is one of those circuits, Chabba. You don't have a small incident, and nor is Brands Hatch. And thankfully, for what it's worth, in some small minor miracle for you, you were able to avoid incidents in all 5 races tonight.
What was that of me?
Well, actually, no, except
That's
for...
fake news.
No, sorry. 4 out of the 5, and everything after the first, 50 metres of the second race in Formula V. Do you want to explain what happened there?
It was before the first 50 metres. It was incredible.
Was it before you saw green?
Yes. Well, it was before we hit the checkered, like the start finish line. Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What happened there, please?
Johnny decided to pull across, and I was there.
No.
He's
just thrown hold up under the bus.
He did. No, to be fair, he apologies. I thought the net code, that sort of thing. I'm unconvinced on the net code front, I have to say. But yeah, that chucked me in a meatball situation immediately, and that made pay to that. So there's many reasons why these bloody rolling laps need to go.
I'm with you.
I'm sick of it. I reckon
I'm right there with you.
3 times this season. I just about missed Porsches, actually. I reckon the Open guys might have missed their split. Spent about 17 days under safety car. But yeah, that's certainly Exhibit A is to me.
I love it. Well, this is the thing, right? Either we need to... I'm with you, right? If we're going to have rolling laps in the Formula Vs, we need the Porsches to be a 9 o'clock start. It's as simple as that, because the turnaround time was too tight. We didn't really get to do much chatting with the boys, or Grant for that matter, post-race. So I'm with you right there and then, and especially on a sprint night. Yeah, it doesn't bode well, but that's something we'll fine-tune for next week. Come back to you in a moment. I know Jordan Pianazzola is still here. I want to bring him back into the conversation. I'm just going to throw it around the room tonight, boys, just do something different, see how everybody feels about this, because 9 times out of 10 we get blokes that are sitting in here waiting, and they just get sick of it, and they're like, okay, Zach, see you next week. We'll chat then, and they pack up and shuffle off without so much as a word. But Jordan and Austin, let me talk to you both on this one. I'm not sure, because Jordan's still got himself muted at the moment, but Austin, let me go to you first. What's it like working with Jordan and vice versa? How much are you guys enjoying this branch out into GSRC competition? And also, how hard is it when you know that the night's not going to plan for one part of the team, when you yourself, Austin, are having a dream run?
Yeah, it's always fun working with Jordan. It's funny because I think we have almost polar opposites in terms of how we drive. So I think there's really not. I think instead of working, I found them past with endurance racing, us in the same car doesn't seem to click, but us racing together in separate cars always seems to click, because we can work to each other's strengths and weaknesses and just push each other along. And it's been really fun with GSRC, being able to pitch it together under a team name and have a go. And yeah, it's always unlucky when one person's having a good run, one person's having a bad run, especially when Jordan's carrying on swearing over the mic. Being super loud in my ears as his wheels turned off.
Well, I'm coming back to that in a minute.
But yeah, it's good fun. It's really fun. Racing with friends is what it's all about at the end of the day. So getting to race in a cool place like GSRC together is, it's always going to be a good time.
Can I just quickly, in Jordan's defence, when you are flustered, it's very easy to let slip certain coarse words, right?
Definitely.
So the boys might have noticed my sense of humour failure yesterday here in our broadcast chat thread, right? I don't mind disclosing for everybody at home, and I've got not a leg to stand on, because everybody here knows that once we put the microphone down and we go off air, we're okay to let our guard down and let some words slip, right? That we won't let slip whilst we're on air.
Right, of course, Zach.
I had a sense of humour failure yesterday, right? Because here in Discord, I can sit off air with you blokes, and shout out any word, predominantly those four-letter ones that begin with F and C, under the sun. I can shout them out all night long, but as soon as I type them up in a message, I get a warning for use of certain words. There's no consistency in that, because I'll tell you something right now. If we got the same sort of strict, officialdom, what's the word I'm looking for, boys? Sorry. The stringent sort of adjudication from the bot as what we when we write something, as if we were talking. None of us would have any Discord privileges ever for the rest of the time. We'd all been chucked out because we'd been naughty boys and we'd be suspended. So I don't know who I've got to have a chat to rectify that. I think it might be my broadcast producer and director tonight, because I think he's in charge of the bot. But we'll wait and see how that plays out. But it's interesting, isn't it, Jordan? Because you know as well as I do, time and a place. When you're out there in the field of battle, you can get flustered. It can be frustrating, particularly when it's circumstances beyond your own control that bring you undone. We've all fallen victim to that in the past. But then when we come in here and we're on the microphone, we know exactly what these boys want to say sometimes. But we as commentators, we've got to keep a lid on it and be, for lack of better words, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, learning to flip that switch is quite a hard one, especially when you're just coming in straight after putting it in the wall. All you want to do is slip up like Scotty McLaughlin did at Adelaide. But you need to pinch yourself and be like, oh no, don't want that. But nah, look, it's a tough one. But I wish we could sometimes just be free and say what we want to say, you know.
Well, that's exactly right. We are after 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Western Time, but we still, for the sake that we do broadcast on replay in some parts, we do have to keep a lid on it sometimes. Yes, that's just me liking the broadcast, folks, because it's the first time tonight that I've had a chance to open the social media thread, and it was the first thing that came up was the fact that the GSRC is live. No S. Sherlock. I've been here for 2.5 hours. Very nicely done. Hey, let's throw it around the room here, because, and Bondi's still here as well. And obviously, Sean Benici just saying can't have a chat tonight, coming up on 4 a.m. if you don't mind, for Sean Benici over there in Alaska. Hey, Shauno, at some point during this season, we'd love to have a chat with you, mate, because obviously it's been nice to see you running at the forefront of the Porsche series, but and the GT one for that matter as well. Try and work something out where you can link up with us and not wake the kids up at that time of the morning over the next couple of weeks, because I reckon we're going to have to have a chat with you with regards to exactly first ever P Cup win in any capacity, but in the open split tonight. Well done to you. First race win, that is. But we also know that you're in contention with our good mate Matt Schmidtke with regards to the GT3. Is it Pro-Am split? Yes, it is. So good luck there over the next couple of weeks. We want to hear from you at some point. We want to get you in the booth and have a chat between now and the end of the championship, because we get a feeling that there might be I don't know who's footing the postage bill for sending some silverware over to Alaska, but good luck with that when you eventually get to the end of the series in a couple of weeks, mate. So hopefully you'll be able to set up a link to have a chat with you without waking the kids between now and the end of the campaign. Let me throw it around the room here, boys. Jordan, Brands Hatch, Formula V earlier in the night, and Chapo as well. I think I was right in saying you were out there, Jordan, were you not?
Correct, you are.
Okay, let me start with you, because I know Chapo's not... Okay, first race, brilliant. Second race, ended before it began. Third race, brilliant again. From your standpoint, what do you make of all of that, please?
I mean, it's always good stuff in the Formula V. I always try and, tell other people, hop in these things. It's some of the greatest, racing you'll ever have.
Thank you.
But, yeah, I mean, Brands Hatch, again, on the calendar, but this time in a better capacity compared to when we had the supercar there. This was a lot better in the V. You could actually go racing, as per se. But I had an 8th, a 16th, and an 8th. And that middle race, when I was in 16th, I started 3rd, and I just got absolutely swamped back by everybody. All I wanted to do was go forward, but everyone decided to put me backwards, which wasn't too fun. But Look, I survived. I was able to avoid all of the crashes virtually. But yeah, I don't really care about the results. I just like to have fun in those things.
Chapo, it says a lot for the carnage level in that second race, right? And I mentioned it on air. I said it was a bit of a dirty race. Grant quite rightly said not necessarily dirty, just incidents happening right around the place. I reckon untidy would have been a better use of words on my part. But when we look at all of that second race for you, the rate of incidents and attrition saved your bacon, really, because you possibly, having had to stop and get a fast repair on the opening lap, may not have made it into the invert had it not been for all the other incidents unfolding around you.
Oh, well, not for my enormous pace sack, of course.
Oh, that's true, yes.
But no, I mean, yeah, there was definitely a bit going on there. I think without a few incidents, yeah, might maybe just have crept into that 15th spot, but it certainly helped me get forward a bit more. Getting into the top 10 once you've driven through pit lane on a 15-minute race is not really to be expected in a field of over 20. So, yeah, like we'll take that. And obviously it put me in a pretty decent position for that third race. It's still sort of 7th place, but was able to make it through pretty quickly, which was handy.
How's the ego stroke there, by the way, from Sam Chapman, by the way? If not for my enormous pacer. Brilliant. Hey, Austin Edwards, disappointed to have him depart for the evening, Jordan, but you might be able to speak on his behalf.
About what?
Well, no, that's all right. Obviously, he's got other commitments creeping in, and that's okay.
No, he's just hopped in another voice chat by himself. He's probably waiting for me to go join him.
Well, I was going to say, I was about to go back to him because I wanted to get your bloke's thoughts on St. Petersburg next week. I mean, I can still talk to you about Formula V, and that's all right. But, sorry, not St. Petersburg next week. Adelaide next week for the Porsche. St. Petersburg the week after. We've got St. Petersburg for GT3, of course. I'm getting a week ahead of myself there. But it's interesting because we saw how it races in the supercars, and I dare say it's going to be quite challenging yet again to execute overtaking opportunities in the Porsches if the supercars are any indication as to how they may race around that new bit of real estate we've got to play with.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Adelaide's top tier. I'll always promote it as the best street circuit in the world. But I know you wanted to ask Austin, and he'll tell you it's one of the worst tracks. Or I don't know if it's one of the worst tracks in his eyes, but he doesn't really put it up there very highly.
Yeah, well, Austin's left, so we don't care about his opinion. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no, asking you shall receive. He's rejoined us.
I said come back. He wants to talk Adelaide, so he decided to come back and has put his word in. So Austin, we're talking Adelaide. What do you think of it? We're going peak ups there next week. You're the one always trying to twist my arm to do these cars. So am I going to be able to twist your arm to go racing around Adelaide?
Knitting sounds more fun.
Yeah, there we go.
Knitting. Oh, wow. That might be the first time we've ever heard the activity that's usually, reserved for, people like my dear late grandmother and others of that vintage and ilk. Knitting has been compared to Porsche Cup racing. He preferred to knit. Knit what exactly, by the way? Just out of curiosity, since you've gone down that avenue?
My ears are a bit cold at the moment, so a beanie sounds pretty good.
A beanie? Oh, right, rather than go race around these streets of Adelaide. Right, okay, so this opens an interesting can of worms because I want to come back and cover off St. Pete because, again, I was a week ahead of myself. And I want to cover that off as well. So let me ask you this, boys, right? Chapo, you've seen how Adelaide plays out. It's a home round for both you and Jordan next week. Bondi, you've been there as well. We've all seen how Adelaide plays out, but I'm a little bit worried, as no doubt you guys will be, with the bouncy nature of that circuit and the bouncy nature of these cars. Could be a lethal combo, and it is a 40-minute race as well. So let's go around the room. Austin, you lead us off.
I don't actually own the track or plan on driving the track anytime soon, so you can I'll pass the baton.
You feel free to come and watch the carnage unfold from here in Central Commentary if you want next week. Bondi?
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Something about Adelaide.
You weren't listening.
Something about Adelaide, so yeah, looking forward to that. I think we should just try and drive these trampolines without bouncing too much. And if we end up in a wall, well, no surprise. So
Actually, that's not bad from you, because we've been calling them pogo sticks all term, but really they are trampolines because they are the four-wheel equivalent. Pogo stick would be more motorcycle territory. That's good, Bondi. I like that. Chapo, it's a circuit that we're synonymous with. But yeah, I wonder if we've got the mix right here next week. Obviously, we don't want to, saturate the calendar with sprint races, but I was a little bit surprised to see that we're going to be racing around there for 40 minutes when the calendar came out.
Oh, well, it can be a bit difficult to overtake, I guess, at times. But, yeah, I mean, it's incredible to hear this sort of slander towards the Adelaide circuit by someone who doesn't even own it.
I love it. I love it.
No. I own Adelaide. I own Adelaide. St. Pete is where my beef was.
Oh, you just said you don't own Adelaide.
No, sorry. I thought we were talking about St. Pete. Sorry, my bad.
There's fake news all over the place here. She's
Copy.
out of control.
Yeah, mate.
Well, that's part my fault because I said St. Pete and then corrected myself, but I'll come back to that in a moment because, okay, so now that we've got Austin's thoughts on St. Pete, we need to go back and cover him off with Adelaide, but then I need to talk St. Pete with the rest of you. So we've just stretched this post-race show out by another 5 minutes. Thank you, Austin. Chapo, Adelaide, you love it. Pogo stick or not, it's a pivotal round of the championship, particularly with a view to keeping your championship lead intact.
Yes, yeah, it will be. And in our split as well, I don't think we get a fast repair, so that means that you've got to be relatively careful. But yeah, no, I mean, every round's a pivotal round. It's been a good season to date, but yes, we'll have to be relatively careful there and hope that we can bring it home. Obviously, yeah, it's always nice to bring it home on home soil.
Can I just, by the way, put this out there for you, ladies and gentlemen? Schmitty, can you bring up the weather totem pole on the right-hand side of the screen there? Because I'm pretty sure, yes, 6 o'clock in the evening at the start of the feature, right? Hello, Queensland. That's what daylight looks like after 6 o'clock. I had to get that in. I'm sorry. I should have done it a lot sooner. I know I'm not 100% tonight, and that proves it, that I didn't get that sledge in there a lot sooner. But yes, that's what summer, progressive civilization and daylight saving could be if you wanted to embrace it instead of being stuck in the early 20th. Now, where were we? On the subject of, at least South Australia is only half an hour behind in summer. They're half an hour ahead of Queensland. Jordan, Adelaide, obviously you're pumped up for it.
Yeah, I'll drive anything there but a BMW, but that's another story.
Hang on. Yeah, be more specific. What type of BMW, please?
A BMW. We're going to go down a rabbit hole here. I could not care less about those cars. You're not even going to pay me to put me in one of those. Austin drives one. He's got one that he wants to go rip around some tracks in WA. He asked me to go join him, for fun. Two mates. Why not? Yep. And I said, nah, you can't even pay me to do that.
So just you've just blackballed the entire manufacturer. Copy that. There's more in that. We might, when he's next back in the commentary box, folks, we might pepper him with questions as to why. That is the case. Very nicely done. Bondi's excited about that. So Austin, obviously my bad because I mentioned St. Pete first. So you're not a fan of... Okay, so why not a fan of St. Pete? And are you actually a fan of Adelaide or not?
No, mate, I think with all my spare time, I'm going to have to make myself a pair of socks while I'm at it.
So we're not going to see you for the next 2 weeks, is essentially what you're telling me.
I think I will come to Adelaide if I'm free, but I probably won't have that much fun. It doesn't excite me, that track.
I don't know how. A wild statement, wild.
Jordan, you're going to have to drag him kicking and screaming by the sounds of this.
I will.
And gladly. From a teammate standpoint, you'd love to have him there for moral support, no doubt. But it's interesting because is that just your general mindset with street circuits as a whole, Austin, or is it just those two specifically? I'm interested here.
I think I just like tracks that promote good racing, and I think those tight tracks that are typically for street circuits, they're just typically not good for racing. You're either having to really force moves and kind of rolling the dice whether it sticks and hoping the other guy gives you the space, instead of, you know, somewhere like Red Bull Ring where you've got space to go side by side and you can go left and you can go right to go side by side, where those street circuits, they just don't really promote that well, and so that takes away the fun for me.
I don't mind where he's going with that, because I can relate to it, because how many times have we spoken about street circuits just being a one-way ticket to an expensive repair bill, right? As opposed to, like, I understand why they happen. There's a big, you know, hoo-ha, spectacle, ego stroke, whatever. To go with street racing, it's a hey, look at me moment. But, I mean, Adelaide do it well, Chapo, and it's very rare you'll hear me say anything positive about South Australia, so clip that and enjoy it for what it's worth. But
I will, thanks.
But,
Wow.
That's
sorry,
going on our
Jordan.
next. That's going on our next tourism ad, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, Jordan. There's a lot of backstory to that, mate. Stick around after the broadcast, and I'll fill you in. However, in saying all of that, it's interesting because they are very different circuits. Bondi, I can pick on you here for personal experience, right? Because you were out there in the supercar a couple of weeks ago at St. Pete. I would argue that Adelaide's probably a better racing circuit than the Grand Prix St. Petersburg circuit, because we just saw how difficult it was to execute overtaking opportunities there in the supercar. Are you worried about that when you go there in the GT3 next week and the Porsche the week after, with regards to trying to work your way forward, or not?
Nah, I prefer St. Pete. Adelaide's just not great. That's for personal reasons, okay? What you're trying with Titanic.
Don't throw me under the bus with regards to your own viewpoint on the circuit. You're the one that's got to go out there and drive it.
No, you know what I'm getting at, though.
I know exactly what you're getting at, and you better stop before we get into any trouble.
They're both pretty good, to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Adelaide probably provides a bit better racing across all disciplines of cars, and St. Pete not so much. In a supercar, though, St. Pete's fun.
Jordan, your thoughts on? I know how you feel about Adelaide, but St. Petersburg, as I say, we saw how just narrow it was, if nothing else, in the back section, and it was really hard. It was a tough grind in the supercar. Do you feel as though it's going to be the same in the Porsche?
100%. It's a street circuit. They're always going to be tough. They're just managing them and just staying within that whisker within a wall at all times is hard enough, even when we have to do it on an open track, staying on a knife edge. But St. Pete, I'd probably say, I'd agree with Bondi. The racing it produces probably in most categories isn't as good as Adelaide. But I reckon I didn't drive St. Pete in the supercar because I just knew I was going to put it in the wall. But I would probably agree with him that would be a thrill, putting that car around that track.
Very excited for next Wednesday night, actually. We go from Road Atlanta to Road America. So, I mean, we've been to St. Petersburg in recent weeks, to Brands Hatch, and now Road Atlanta, then Road America. That series is just going gangbusters at this point. Hey, Chapo, as the tourism advocate for South Australia, how are you selling it to iRacing, or are you just slipping a letter into Mr. Malinaskas's inbox? How quickly are you trying to get iRacing back to South Australia at the end of next November to scan the updated version of the circuit?
I'm not sure I've had a good look at what the changes are. I mean, the current circuit's good. I'm pretty happy with that. At least we've got that. I mean, it would be good to have an updated circuit, maybe once it's bedded in for a few years. But at least we've got something at this point, and it's a pretty nice layout that feels pretty familiar. So I quite like it as is.
Jordan, let me ask you this with a view to going back to talking about Zandvoort. How frustrating is it? And I can speak from many examples of personal experience, but I don't want to hog the limelight here. How frustrating is it when it's a mechanical failure, which in SimWorld context correlates to a tech failure, that brings about your undoing, knowing that there's absolutely bucklies you can do about it?
Oh, it's probably one of the worst feelings that can happen when you're behind the wheel of a race car, because when it's robbed from you, and within inside you, you've got that inner feeling that it was robbed from you. It just stings and hurts that bit more. I don't know how you really ever manage those things. it's just a part of racing. You kind of get used to it after time. I've been in and around the block for nearly 20 years, so I am used to it. But at the same time as me being used to it, I don't think I've yelled that loudly about losing or win in a bloody long time. That I think Austin yelled, "Jordan, shut up!" So. Yeah, that was I lost it for a moment. That was not fun, and yeah, it's just a part of racing. You somewhat got to get used to it, although you never will.
And that's a completely different. Excuse me, boys. I'm going to sneeze here in a moment. I just have that uneasy feeling coming through, and I know I'm going to have a coughing fit. So let me get this question out, Austin. Given what Jordan just said, how difficult is it when you know full well that there's a lot going on around you? Obviously, it's all going up the creek without a paddle for him. How? I mean, I'm just trying to think of the right way to word it here. When you are in the thick of it and you've got different noises, different things going on around you, how difficult is it to train yourself to block that out and concentrate on your own task at hand? It's a different trick to the trade, and not everybody can master it, because let's be perfectly honest, some of us are very easily distracted.
It's actually pretty simple. You just make sure you're yelling louder than Jordan to shut up, and he kind of gets the gist of it, and he can go back to racing.
But is it off-putting? Does it distract you from the task at hand, or not?
100%. 100%. I like to just I just want to be focused on the road in front of me. I don't like when people talk in my ear. I want, like, in other endurance racing, I want bare minimum information. Just let me drive. And so having Jordan screaming and carrying on never helps. But I'm just better at screaming and carrying on at him, apparently.
And Chapo, I'm sure you can lend some of your own experience and insight into this, because no doubt it gets very heated, very noisy, lots going on in the Vermilion stable on a regular basis.
Yes, it regularly gets out of hand in that stable, particularly in NASCAR, where we tend to have about 12 morons in the same chat trying to talk over each other and whinging about a safety car and, oh, well, woe is me, I've dive bombed someone and the car's broken. So half the time that's me as well, to be fair.
True.
But yes, I on the same boat though. I much prefer a completely quiet mic, really nothing going on. I find it a bit more difficult when there's more people in chat.
No, I'm the same. I must say, when I'm on a road trip, on the rare occasion that I got someone in the passenger seat, I very rarely can have the music on at a point where I can hear it. Like it's just faintest background noise imaginable. Because if you try to concentrate on the road and not killing anybody, let alone yourself, and also the conversation you're having with your offsider, or the music that's playing, you can only do two. I don't think we can handle any more obligations than that. That's only speaking from personal experience. It's different for everybody, but yes, I don't know how the professionals do it, the Formula One drivers of the world, where they've got so much going on and they've always got someone on in their ear. I don't envy them whatsoever. Let's start to put a full stop on this, gentlemen. It's nearly 20 past 10. We'll have a full-time score from the AFL in just a moment. Just repeating, New South Wales have whitewashed or blue-washed the Women's State of Origin series on the back of the men's result last night as well. So it's not a very good year to be a Queenslander. Just give up, throw in the towel and start again next year, as far as I'm concerned. They will not win in Melbourne. Mark my words. I'm putting that on the record right here and now. They will not win in Melbourne. Now, let's look ahead to next week. Before I do that, Chapo, we're just having a look here on screen at the battle that was enraging between Greg Stewart and Craig Bond. You had two really good scraps tonight. One was with Greg in Heat 1, and then again towards the back end of Heat 2. You nearly got him, but you weren't able to get the job done. But the third race of Formula V, the old experienced hand, real-world experienced hand of Adam Proctor, by gee, he kept you honest.
Yeah, he did. He sat behind me the whole race and pulled along. I was driving pretty quick. I was pretty angry after the last race, so I was putting in decent times and just sit there. He was quite happy to sit there and bring it to the final lap rather than you know, bring the other guys into it or take any risk. And yeah, of course, you know, he knows what he's doing, and he gave it a red hot crack. But yeah, fortunately, we were able to hold on to it. I was wondering, just given how long he'd been behind me, whether he would have a little bit of intel as to, you know, what my corners look like, and where I might be quick and slow. But yeah, it was fortunately able to just hold on to it there, but a good battle.
Indeed, and I can't believe this. We're still on air. We've only been off track half an hour, and Adam Lavis has gone through and crunched the numbers for both the Elite Split and Formula V. He's doing the Open Split as we speak. Do you boys want to see the updated state of play at the end of Week 7?
Sure, mate. Far away.
There it is for the Formula V. And apologies too, because for some reason I had him at the back of the head that you won race 1, but of course you missed out on a photo with Johnny Merritt, of course. So 3 different winners there in the Vs throughout the course of the night, and they happen to be the top 3 in the championship. Merritt wins the round on points, 5 clear of Sagassa, and only 1 back then to Chapo. Have a look at that, how tight that was, and have a look at how tight it is now on points on the back of the drop rounds coming into the equation. Holy cow. 24 points. It covers first and third. 8 points covers first and second. And it's Chapo ahead of Sagassa and Johnny Merritt as well. They're in third. Adam Lavis in for fourth. Then Lockie Purvis only 6 points back. Derek Fitzgerald unlucky in that second race. He got hung out to dry and didn't really recover. Did well in race 1, however. Stole fourth on the final lap from 7th. Ryan Tate, 6:09. Michael Adams. Jordan's up 3 spots despite 8th, 16th and 8th. See consistency. As long as you're finishing banking points, Jordan, the opportunity is there to move forward. What works against you, though, is you haven't got drop rounds at your disposal. Chapo does, but I'm wondering if that's enough of a leverage there for him to work with how hard both Sagassa and Merritt are charging home. Merritt has no drop rounds at his disposal. He was a late arrival. Can he still factor in the equation here in a couple of weeks' time? We'll find out very shortly. But Jordan's in the top 10. Brendan Nealon's just behind him. 188 points covers first and 10th at the moment. 20 points the gap between Michael Adams and Jordan Pianazzola. 3 points between Derek Fitzgerald, Ryan Tate, 6 points Adam Lavis and Lockie Purvis. And as I said, just 24 covering the top 3. Chapo, have you got enough up your sleeve if you do end up overseas?
No, not at the moment. 8 points is not enough. Like, are you kidding?
True.
But
although Braden's only got 1 drop round up his sleeve, you've got 2.
Yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I mean, we'll see what we can do. I went to Cash Converters today and got myself a PSVR2 for $350. So it might give that a crack. See, that's a bit more portable than like 3 screens is to take overseas. So we'll see if that runs on the laptop, and maybe we can make ourselves a bit of a makeshift appearance to keep the dream alive.
I love it. I love the ambition. I love the aspiration. Hey, Jordan, in the top 10, mate. Not bad, considering the depth of competition you've got in that series at the moment. But the key is to finish it off strong. Can you lean on Chapo for some hints and pointers with regards to how to bag a better result in Formula V going forward?
It's probably practice, but I don't like to do that. I just like to hop in and have fun. But it does somewhat remind me of, you know, go-karting and just all that sitting close in a whole pack, and as soon as the other guys break away, you kind of got to get your head down and get forward, and if it doesn't and the other guy's behind you, just stick the nose in and battle. You're never going to be able to catch the guys in front, but it's fun battling. I don't know if Chappie will tell me some hints. He's too busy fighting for a title here. But maybe if he wants to tell me because I'm from Adelaide, maybe that does another part. I don't know. I'll have to message him and find out.
However, in saying that, before you even answer that, Chapo, just how late did you drop into the server tonight? Because you're not one that's known for practice in the V.
So I just need to get good then. Okay.
Well, I mean, I've had a few years under my belt
yeah.
now, and there was some practice in the early days, but tonight I think I had about 20 minutes tonight. So, yeah, not nothing, but yeah, not a huge amount. So
I think I rocked up for qualifying.
yeah, that is a little bit late generally.
Just a little, just a wee bit.
So my general rule at the moment is if I can get 20 minutes of like cracky in, then that's not too bad for the V's. So, but all I'll say is generally the V's are about racecraft and staying alive and reading what's ahead of you, and you know, playing a bit like chess. You know, what's the plan ahead here? So. You know, that's almost more important than pace, really, in the V's generally, is sort of like that sort of strategic thinking and looking ahead as to how you might be able to force your way through without losing too much time, and where it's time just to sit behind if someone's doing all right and, you know, there's a battle ahead. So that's usually the best one. And also I'd just flick the brake bias back a little bit as well. That's usually a nice little tip.
All right. Going forward, thanks.
Porsches Pro Elite Split. Let's have a look at the points there. Have a look at this, Bondi. I know you're still here. Third in the points race at the moment, and only 15 off Willie Blair and 49 off Chapo. So the chance of a podium berth in the Elite Split is still on, and Chapo, the dream of a Thursday night double, is still alive for the moment.
Yeah, it is. You know, as usual, my travel schedule could put pay to that. But yes, it is alive for now. We'll see what our portable rig looks like. Hopefully we can keep sort of edging it out next week and get a little bit more comfort. But yeah, the Porsches in particular, while I've got more of a lead, it's actually more difficult to bring it home without doing those final two rounds because of the absurdity of 200 points in the final round. So we'll have to see what we can do there.
Chapo, stay with me a couple of moments. So to Jordan and Austin. Bondi, you're about to go. I just literally got a Snapchat message from him as we put the points up. Any other questions, or can I jump? I think the word you meant was bounce, but that's okay. We won't encourage anyone to jump. Bondi, thoughts on that? The fact that you're third in the points race, you've nabbed a few podiums, a race win, everything's going okay. Going to be tough to beat Willie and Chapo, and I guess what could work into your favour is if Chapo's aspirations to race whilst on holiday fall foul, you might be able to sweep up the pieces there. But Willie Blair is your nearest opponent at the moment, and you've got to fend off the hard-charging Jono Akers as well.
Yeah, well, I felt nice on Monday night and didn't feel like just leaving completely, so I'll ask you first. No, but
yeah, he's in what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is he's in a better mood. He's not reaching for the Kleenex. Go for it, Bondi.
I was in a better mood. I was in a good mood, mate. This week's a way better mood than last week, but we can argue whatever.
Keep going.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, that's why I needed to win tonight. I needed a win or second a lot to try and fix up what happened in race 2 and possible penalty and just get a few more points. So didn't exactly succeed at that, which is a disappointment, but I'm going to have to turn my focus to next week and maybe put some practice in, because I spent all night before this in the supercar at Mexico trying to practice for Scops, and then turned up to this with no practice except for the official server practice. So once I get Scops behind me, hopefully I can qualify this weekend. I can just focus on GSRC for the rest of the season.
Big week next week. 2 street circuits and the old notorious Road America in the middle. So St. Petersburg Monday and the GT3. We'll see you there. Adelaide for the Porsches next Thursday night. Road America in the middle for the supercars. Going to be a busy week for you, all on top of that Scops race that you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Scops. So it's going to be big first major race with the new team, so looking forward to that, and hopefully first I need to qualify. Don't get my hopes up, but yeah.
just quickly, and I don't want to hold everybody up too long, did you get a chance to toot your own horn about that on the broadcast last night, or do you want to let everybody else know what's been going on behind the scenes over the last 48 hours while you've got the chance?
I kind of mentioned it last night, but not fully. So, I've been racing as a somewhat privateer since day one, but been listed myself under my own team name, which I do recognise myself as running a team, trying to get drivers, but sadly haven't been recruiting any. So I was given the opportunity that other weekend when I was karting against Blake Warboys to join their team, WK&P Simsports, Wodonga Karts and Parts Simsports. And I took a week, I had to think about it and see where I wanted to end up with my racing, and I decided earlier in the week to join them and announced it yesterday. So yesterday was technically my first day with them, but I'm still running under my own team still, so it's just me and them have kind of combined, but I'm the only one that's running under the combined part of it. So it's a bit confusing, but I'm happy. I'm with a very strong, good team, and I'm still able to recognise my own sponsors and race under myself and still recruit drivers for special events and GSRC and stuff.
Very nicely done, mate. Good to see you forging a solid partnership there with that new entity. And of course, hopefully the two of you can build and grow together. And it's all for the greater good. Good luck with this weekend. I know I'll be hearing about it on socials. We'll catch up Monday night. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, and hopefully I'll drag some of them over to GSRC for next season. And thanks to all my other sponsors as well.
Well, anyone here is welcome, as you know. The more the merrier. The bigger the grids, the better. We've been a little bit light on in numbers in recent times, so anything we can do to improve that. If there's members spreading the word about what we do here and how we do it, I'm all for it. There's some new driver allocations being announced internally with regards to who's going up into the elite split, who's staying where they are, and who's being relegated back down to the open split as well. So watch this space with regards to all of that next week. Chapo, before I get some final thank yous from everybody, because I'm sure there's a couple of people that Austin wants to thank for the fact that he's had a double podium tonight, and I'm sure there's a couple of people that Jordan would like to thank as well, and you too. Let's just have a quick chat and acknowledge exactly what Greg Stewart's brought to the table. Geez, he's been a vitally important, wonderful addition to the grid in the elite split, and he's kept you on your toes tonight.
Yeah, he has. He's quick and we're pretty well matched. So it's created some pretty nice racing. So yeah, good to have him out there. It's better when I can put him in between me and my championship rivals rather than him getting ahead of me. But nevertheless, it's he races really quick and really well, and I think we're pretty well matched. So should be some good racing to come.
Elite points tonight, of course. The round honours went to, in third place, Dane Snadden, 88 points. Of course, Greg there on 107 claimed the round honours, and 103 for Chapo in the silver medal position. The open split, the results there, you saw the results from race 2. The results for the round, Adam Lavers, third and second, 98. Sean Benici, a win in the feature, good enough for second for the round by 2 points, 96, to back up the seventh in race 1. Third for the night, Tristan Koch. Someone in the comments mentioned the way in which he's been improving vastly as the season's gone on. There's another example of that. Eighth and fifth in the two races, and 83 points for the night. The third place for the second heat. Hang on, let's scroll a little bit further. Jesus, there it is. Austin Edwards. Oh, Austin, do you want the breaking news?
Light me up.
Welcome to the elite split for next week, young man.
Thank you. I've been paying attention to that, wondering where all my scores went. Noticed I've been put on the elite. I'm like, that makes sense.
You've been promoted, so you'll be leaving Jordan all the way back there in the open split to play on his lonesome next week.
Yeah, that's all right. One day he'll catch up, but for now, I'll enjoy my time at elite.
Hey, geez, he didn't miss a chance to throw you under the bus there, did he, Jordan?
I was going to win that race. you know, he wasn't even going to get on the podium, but my downfall gave him a podium. So, you know, how he wants to take that is how he wants to take that.
Still a bit of lap times on him though, so it's fine.
So you'll
Yeah,
see
that's
Austin.
because you like Porsches. I don't.
Yeah, well, here it is.
you will see Austin in the elite split next week. You'll see Jordan in the open split, and we're looking forward to that immensely. And Jordan, hopefully seeing you back out on track before that, considering that I'm back here to keep the seat warm on a Wednesday night next week.
Yeah, maybe. I can probably hop in maybe Mondays if you do that. For the Formula 3, I'll be racing GT3s, but the one before I can maybe hop in.
Feel free to hop in and do some co-play-by-play with me. Absolutely, it'd be great to have you here on Monday night. Be interesting to get your thoughts on Formula 3, but then yes, if you're jumping in with GT3, we'll ask for some post-race comments as well. And then obviously we'll see you back in the cockpit to go racing, because you weren't able to last night because we had to get you to part fill for Dan Yeaman and part fill for me, because Yeaman's work just didn't allow him to be home on time, and I'd cracked a dose of the SH1Ts, so it was you all on your lonesome. However, in saying that, no doubt Road America, it's a big draw card, so I'm expecting a good field in both the 86s and the supercars.
Yeah, I mean, Road America is probably a pretty high up there track for, you know, a lot of people. For me, it's a racetrack. I wouldn't say I like it or I dislike it. It's just another track. But you know, with the sprint racing there as well, so I think it's going to, you know, produce some good fun for us.
Austin, how do you feel about the promotion? Obviously, it's testament and reward for the performances you put in. Excellent, great stuff. And now you get to go and test yourself against the big boys in the elite split. How do you feel about the challenge that awaits you next week?
Oh, I love it, mate. I love being in the deep end. I'd rather be at the back of the top split than the front of the bottom split. I've always felt that way. It's always nice. I just think that's a better way to compare yourself against everyone. Yeah, and it motivates me more as well, knowing I'm at the back and need to put in some more work.
All right, very nicely done. We're looking at a smorgasbord of sprint racing next week, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited about that. Sprint racing on Monday night, on Wednesday night, on Thursday night, sprinkled in with a feature of 40 minutes in both the supercars and the Porsches. So we're excited about all of that. Gentlemen, you've been exceptionally good with your time. Chapo, I do need to ask you, what are your thoughts on Barber Motorsport Park, Birmingham, Alabama, with regards to that being the next stop for the Formula Vs?
Great track. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Some sort of similar characteristics to Brands in some ways. So, yeah, I think it will suit the sort of current iteration of these really well. It's tricky enough that, you know, it's not just a nice slipstream fest, but there's certainly places to overtake. So, yeah, I'll look forward to that.
Cannot wait. Going to be absolutely fantastic. How good was it to have Grant Boyden here in the booth with us, sharing his insights and expertise throughout the course of that. And as he said, at some point down the line, we're going to see him out there in the thick of the action as well, racing amongst those lunatics, as well as jumping in and having a chat with us here in the booth. So we're excited about that. Chapo, let me start with you, then we'll go to Austin and Jordan. Who would you like to thank, please? Chapo?
Yeah, no.
There he is.
Yeah, yeah, no, thanks for you guys for putting it on. Thanks, well, I guess, you know, thanks to the team for Porsches last night. You know, it's probably got me used to the car a little bit, even though I was relatively rubbish, all things considered. Another classic case of drive okay in practice, forget how to drive car in qualifying. It's a really good trait to have in short sprint races that are usually deeply violent. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for tonight.
Deeply violent indeed. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Jordan, Austin, who would you boys like to thank?
Austin.
You go first.
Oh, okay, fine.
I would like to thank Jordan for his work. I know I'm going to get dragged into racing Adelaide, and we're going to be in different splits next week.
Yeah, you know it.
I'm going to thank Woolies for the chicken I've got in my fridge that I can't wait to tuck into. I'm quite hungry, would you believe? And I'd like to thank Thrustmaster for unplugging Jordan's wheel and giving me a podium.
You son of a gun.
Jordan,
Who do
floor
I
is
want to
yours.
thank? I don't want to thank Thrustmaster. I know that. I know
Correct.
last week I thanked my dad and my mum for bringing me here and making the food, but I'm not going to thank my dad tonight because when I spoke to him after just a bit before, it was the moment when he turned my fan on for me because I'm stuck in a simulator. It was the moment he did that, my stuff turned off.
Oh,
So
no.
he's at fault for it all.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So I don't
Brilliant.
thank him. But yeah, I thank you guys and Austin. Always a laugh afterwards, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes, of course.
you
Thank
know.
you as well, Zach.
Gentlemen, that's been one of the more enjoyable roundtable discussions we've had here on the platforms of the GSRC in quite some time. From both of us getting confused as to whether we'll go to St. Petersburg or Adelaide and vice versa. But just on the record, Austin doesn't like any of the next two rounds of the Porsche Cup. So if nothing else, it's a good learning school for you because it'll be your initiation into the elite split, and then you can go out and show them what you're really made of when we get the Sandown in 3 weeks' time. Gentlemen, go out and enjoy your weekend. Appreciate that. Well done. Unless you want to stick around for some post-race banter, because that's always a barrel of laughs as well. I'm sure Chapo's got a couple of things to throw at me. Well done, boys. Appreciate that. Good show tonight. Excellent.
How going, mate?
Yeah, thank you. I'm probably gonna head off on that note too. So yeah, thanks for having a chat.
Very nicely done, boys. Thank you for that. All the best. Final thoughts from Matt Schmidtke now. Barely got a word in with me and Grant Boyden doing our best during the V's, but great night of racing. That didn't disappoint. And as I said earlier, I look at Zandvoort and think, oh yeah, it's one of those circuits that's either going to deliver or it's going to bore us to tears. It delivered in both races tonight, both the Open and the Elite Split, didn't it, mate? And really, that's why it's proven now many times over that we only ever go the sprint racing format here because it makes it so much more lively and more interesting and exciting than it would be otherwise.
Yeah, the sprint racing certainly makes this track a lot more exciting to watch racing on, and well done to everyone. Race winners, I think we ended up, at least on the broadcast, with 5 different winners.
Yeah.
So, well done to everyone. Good racing all around. A bit of a smash-up derby for a couple of those V races, but wasn't too bad.
And interesting too, because as you say, yeah, 5 from 5. So Chapo won 40% of the races he started tonight. Merritt and Sagassa both picked up 1 apiece, and as we saw there in the broadcast, Austin and Greg chiming in as well. No double up in the second race. Sean Bedici winning over there. So 7 races, 7 different winners across the platforms of the GSRC tonight. Not bad at all. It has been that hectic in here tonight. I haven't even done what I'm about to do here. I need you to direct you in the direction of the top and bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's thank the people that make it possible for us to do what we do here, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Massive thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. Without them, it is simply not possible. They've been magnificent supporters of ours now. Some of them for a short period of time, some of them for the longest time. Couldn't do it without them. Their support goes a long, long way. And every sim racing league or club in the country feels the same way. They know that they're in a bit of a niche, albeit growing industry, and the support from all of the above and the entire business sector that gets behind this caper keeps the lights on. So we greatly appreciate that. Magnificent thanks to Grant Boyden. He's keen to come back and have another crack at it. You can watch Grant on Sky Racing on Sunday afternoon. He works the afternoon into the evening shift there, directing you around the traps as far as horse racing and harness racing and dog racing is concerned. You're in good hands with Boydo there on Sunday on Sky Racing if you've got subscription television, of course. And if not, Monday morning, type the link Grant Boyden Racing, type the words Grant Boyden Racing into your YouTube search bar and go to his channel, subscribe to it. and the links are there as to the Formula V League that he'll be, of course, calling the action for on Monday morning. So NASCAR from Nashville, real world, main screen, and secondary screen set up to watch the second last round of a 12-round championship of the Formula V series, commentated by G. Boyden. As far as we're concerned, so hopefully he's keen to come back and do it again too, so by the way. So whether it's Alabama or Willow Springs, not sure how that's going to play out, but it'll be one of the two, and we'll have more expert comments from him before this term is done. It's been raining cats and dogs here in Cessnock for the last couple of hours. It's finally stopped, and with the cessation of the rain comes the growling and barking of the puppy dogs again. So you can tell the rain's over. So whilst they distract me in one ear, and I've got the sound effects from the onboard of Sam Chapman in the other, let me rattle off some other housekeeping for you. Merch.tgsrci.com, gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Same link takes you to the same address, right? Doesn't matter which one you type in, it takes you to the same place. The merch store, plenty of GSRC merch and paraphernalia that you can grab your hands on, and or get your hands on rather. So grab some of that. It's not too late to grab some top-ups for just whenever you need to gift someone a present, just as a thank you, or as an early birthday present, or an early festive season present, whatever the case may be. Father's Day is only 3 months away. Get around it. Right? The GSRC merch store has something for you, be it for a stocking stuffer or anything in between. So get amongst that. Big weekend of real world sport coming your way. The AFL, I never got to the full-time score there. NBL fixture for 26-27 drops tomorrow too, folks. But earlier tonight, New South Wales too good for Queensland. Again, 12-4 in the women's state of origin. All three games there decided by 8 points or less. Really extraordinary stuff. And in the AFL, Hawthorn 18-11-119, 52-point winners over St Kilda 9-13-67. So 9-13-67, Trug 18-11-119, and Hawthorn get the job done at Marvel Stadium. And a little bit later on tonight, I reckon you'll find, if you tune in to Fox Sports, you're probably going to see some Indian Premier League action. But New Zealand and Ireland playing a 4-day international cricket test match at the moment as well. And that is New Zealand 490 for 8 declared, and Ireland 2 for 20 in response there. The IPL actually continues tomorrow night on the back of the eliminated result last night, where the Rajasthan Royals got the better of the Sunrisers Hyderabad. And as far as sporting events coming up this weekend are concerned, what am I going to steer you in the direction of or bring your attention to? Italian MotoGP, World Superbikes from Aragon, French Open continues, MotoGP, Australian Superbikes from Morgan Park Raceway in Warwick, NRL, AFL, Super Netball, the UEFA Champions League final is early hours Sunday morning. You'll see it on the 9 Network, 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, kick-off at 2 o'clock. Sail GP from the USA, IndyCar from Detroit, and NASCAR from Nashville, early hours Monday morning, although Nashville is a prime timer in the US, so it's 8 a.m. here, Eastern Standard Time, Monday morning, so you can watch that over breakfast and maybe even the early part of lunch. Live Golf, they're in a bit of trouble from South Korea, and of course the Socceroos take on Mexico in the lead up to the FIFA World Cup, and of course the racing's on as well on Saturday Arvo on 7. So yeah, a lot to sink your teeth into. Super Rugby Pacific as well. I think I've covered all the bases there. Let's look at what's coming your way on the platforms of Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. Gentlemen's Endurance Championship, Road Atlanta. There you go, tomorrow night. That'll be good. 105 minutes there, the journey. And that's, of course, coming up 8:30 Eastern tomorrow night. There is no confirmed broadcast for that one. And, of course, I'm on my way back to Ipswich, so I wouldn't be available even if there was. Mountain Men Saturday night, yet to be determined as to what the car of choice will be. In fact, there was some discussion, I think, by Schmitty and Neely with regards to whether or not we start incorporating the wheel spin into Thursday night motorsport. But no, internally, Adam Lavis will let you know what's going on there. Wheel spin Friday to determine car of choice Saturday. 32 laps, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 200 kilometres, standard procedure as per normal. The track, the venue, the format remains the same. It's the car that varies week on week. Then, can't believe I'm saying this, gentlemen, that's our last broadcast of May done and dusted. June is upon us on Monday. 1st of June, have a look at that for a double header. Night 1 of week 8 of term 2 takes us to a street circuit double header. Firstly, the Adelaide Parklands for Waste Options Formula 3, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then on to the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg venue in St. Petersburg, Florida. Not too far from, of course, where we've recently been for the Miami Formula 1 Grand Prix. It's also in Florida. 2 sprint races there. We'll bring you the Pro-Am Sprint, the Pro Feature, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Back-to-back sprint rounds coming up in Waste Options GT3, so look forward to that. Tuesday night, committee choice. That takes you to the Eldora Speedway in the SRX vehicles. That's a sprint race format, server open 7 p.m. Wednesday night, I'm back on deck. Road America, sprint racing in the Toyota 86 Challenge. That'll be worth the price of admission. Jesus, that'll be good fun. Looking forward to that. We did that last time we had the 86s. It was a barrel load of fun. It was an absolute hoot. So that'll be a treat, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time Wednesday night. Then the supercars from the same venue, but the longer format, one race, 40 minutes, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time with thanks to Trophy AI. Thursday night, Disruptive loves Formula V, Barber Motorsport Park, 3 sprint races there, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then on to the Adelaide Parklands for a 40-minute race. We'll bring you the Elite Split broadcast live. We'll have a full wrap of the results from the Open Split race following the broadcast of the Elite Split from round 8 of the GSRC Porsche Cup. So Chabo's on home turf next Thursday night, 8:45 Eastern. Hope you can join us for that. Fantastic stuff. What a night we've had. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Merritt only told me his new car choice after that. Thank you to Adam Lavis for that. Thank you to you at home. On behalf of the entire broadcast commentary and production team here, we sincerely hope that you've enjoyed our coverage of Week 7 of Term 2 of 2026. As far as we're concerned, May is done. We'll see you at the start of winter for Weeks 8, 9 and 10 to bring Term 2 to a close. Big night here. Fascinating contest. Great racing from first until last. 3 different winners in the V's again. Chapo still leads both championships, but will Holidays be his Achilles heel once more? We'll wait and see how it all plays out over the course of the next 3 weeks. We hope you'll come along for the ride and join us every step of the way. On behalf of Matt Schmitke, Grant Boyden, I can't believe I'm pinching myself that I'm saying that. It was great to have him here tonight. We'll have him back in the next couple of weeks, and he's going to be a racing member before the season is done as well. So can't wait to see the commentator turned racer and how he fares out there. I hope you've all enjoyed that as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Zach Caven signing off until we see you on Monday night. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thursday night motorsport done and dusted. We're over and out, and we look forward to your company when Week 8 gets underway. Until then, enjoy what's left of your Thursday evening, everybody. I'm Zach Caven. Bye for now.